NVA fans, welcome back. We are here getting ready for Los Angeles Blaze playing against the Tennessee Tyrants. This is going to be the first game of the day for the American League. Both of these teams have already played yesterday. The Tennessee Tyrants lost a tough one yesterday, so they're 0-1. And Blaze, I think, split the day 1-1, so they're playing their third and final one here. Definitely excited to see this one get underway. What are your thoughts going into this one, Matt?
Well, look, if these teams want to make a run deep into this tournament as it progresses and gets going into the money rounds, then they're going to need to play at a pretty high clip today, this morning, create some momentum, carry it into their next match, take care of business, and keep getting better as this tournament progresses. It's a long 4-day event, and we'll start off a little bit slow and kind of keep going. We ride that wave and it's a marathon, not a sprint, like we say.
Absolutely, and so for fans at home, ways that we're going to see these teams win. So LA Blaze has a very, very middle-centric offense. The more that they're able to get Greg Faulkner and number 14, Jonathan Rodriguez involved, I think we're going to see that unlock a lot of the rest of the roster. And right now, we got a little more insight, though, for the Tyrants. Olivia, take it away.
Thanks, Nick. I'm here with Coach Justin Beaumont. Coach, you saw the players yesterday in that match. What are you looking for today?
So I think we started off really strong last night. I mean, we were up 17-10 on the Stingers, and we have some young guys. We got to just close that game out. So I want to see how we bounce back from that. I want to see what our reaction is to that loss, and see if we can get up early morning today and ball. You know?
Did anything surprise you yesterday from your guys?
Yes. Our offense was super fast when our first was good. I wasn't sure about that because we have some setters playing with some hitters that haven't played together before. And our blocking. I think we blocked pretty well. We just got to put some of those away and in turn get that done.
Thanks so much, Coach. Good luck.
Thanks.
Nick, back to you.
Awesome. And so yesterday when we were seeing the Tyrants play their first set, we didn't know what to expect. And I was able to sit down with Justin a little bit last night, get a little bit more of the team history. And, you know, one of the things that we saw that he was really showcasing, and I got a little more insight. So when the Tyrants was created, they're actually basically a second offspring of the Team Freedom roster. So there's a lot of faces there between the Tyrants and Team Freedom who we just saw that they know each other like the back of their hands. So it's definitely anyone that's in the volleyball world might have played against these guys in some adult nationals tournaments in the past. There's going to be some faces here. But another big surprising thing, we saw a great match from number 4, Ian Kapp yesterday. Found out he played opposite and outside for them. He's a setter.
Jack of many trades.
Yes,
right?
They've got 4 setters on that roster, so they are putting them to good use. And it'll definitely be interesting. But the man to watch on this Tyrants, I know you weren't here yesterday, Jake Malnaziak, number 9. This guy is an all-star. But it was so funny talking to Justin last night. Jake was sitting there and Justin was talking to him, and Justin said, hey man, I saw you hitting some 4-to-4 hard angle cross court shots. I've never seen you do that. What happened? What were you seeing? How were you doing that? And he goes, Justin, I'll be honest with you, I've never done that before either. And he hit 3 of those in their set against the Stingers yesterday. So definitely hopeful. Want to see him bounce back.
Yeah,
Watch.
absolutely. Look, we talked about it in the last match too. You know, how do you contribute to help your team?
Yeah.
And in a situation like this, that's what we're going to look for. So let's see what Olivia's got regarding the LA Blaze.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Coach. You had a match yesterday. What was your message to the squad this morning?
We just have to take advantage of free plays. And I thought that a lot of our players were very indecisive. I know that we haven't really played together for a while, so it's really important. They had a team bonding last night, so you know, hopefully that works. But today, you know, we look forward to having a lot of energy. Get some guys that didn't really play too much yesterday, get them some minutes today, and hopefully they can, you know, bring a different tone.
Yeah, how do you manufacture that chemistry when your guys don't have that much experience together?
I mean, I think if they, like they did last night, you know, they hung out together, they're eating dinner together. I mean, I know it doesn't translate to the court, but it does translate, you know, with you know, how they feel about each other, because that's also important. And so I think that, you know, them spending more time together off the court will translate on the court.
And what did you like that you saw yesterday?
I mean, I love that we serve receive very well. I thought that we played pretty good defense, but again, it was the plays that were easy plays that we didn't take advantage of, and, you know, hopefully that will change today.
Thank you so much, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Back to you.
Yeah, you know, Cynthia mentioned it. Their serve receive yesterday really was something to watch. Both of their liberos, Massanet, number 11, as well as number 5, Wilfredo Morales, both of those guys were dialed in and ready to play. So this is going to be a super interesting match because it's very physical. LA Blaze has a lot of pin hitters that love to go up and go after the ball, and that's exactly the same kind of game that we were seeing from the Tyrants yesterday. I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, matchups are going to be key for sure, especially if LA Blaze realizes that there's some Tyrants maybe playing out of their natural positions. Getting maybe your better offensive players against those guys.
Yep.
To sort of test that matchup, hitter versus blocker. And then obviously strategically knowing what the opponent wants to do. So if the Blaze was able to watch some video or do a shot chart and realize what kind of offense will be coming at them, that's going to pay dividends for them throughout this match and hopefully allow them to take advantage of guys playing out of position fill in some roles that they need to do, and really expose those weaknesses that maybe the Tyrants might lack in terms of positional players.
Yeah, and something we've been talking about that's hard to account for at home. When you're watching and you see people not playing well, it's really easy to sit there and say, wow, they're not doing their job here. But the big thing to remember is this is all best-of-5 matches. Even in peak shape, when guys are D1 athletes, they're not playing a best-of-5 more than once every 4 days. And so to play this many best-of-5s in a short period of time means that these rosters have to make a decision that, are you starting your best players all the time and hoping that they can last, or are you using the depth on your roster? We're seeing the Ramblers, Blaze, and Matadors all have a lot of depth that they're really relying on. They know when they're going for big wins, and they know when they're maybe taking a loss and trying to extend themselves into the tournament.
Absolutely. I mean, these teams are all going to rely on their depth. Their role players maybe coming in off the bench at any time and being ready to go in and get thrown in whenever their number gets called.
Right.
And being able to produce, contribute, take advantage of that opportunity that they're getting that they might have, maybe they didn't start the match, but their number will get called. They got to come in. They got to score points. They got to be disciplined. They got to be ready.
Yep.
If they want to help their team, that's what they're there to do.
Yep.
So
so if I'm a fan at home and I'm looking at mismatches, the thing I'm paying attention to here, there is way more offensive threat out of the Los Angeles Blaze compared to the Tennessee Tyrants. Tennessee Tyrants, we saw some good block touches yesterday, and they were performing defensively. They were doing well, but there is a definite mismatch, I think, there. I'm looking at the physicality from the outside. The Tyrants is a big upside for them. They were lacking an 0-2 yesterday that could consistently contribute, but once they switched in the third set, Ian capped the outside, started really seeing some contributions there, and they ended up going with, who was it? I believe it was Peter Namiokko, and he went to their right side, and he was really contributing in some small kills, but getting great block touches, a lot of great defense. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see if they go with that same lineup, but it's really going to play where one team has a hole, the other has a strength.
Sure.
So it's going to be really interesting to see how that all collides.
Interesting factors to take into account, absolutely, and hopefully the coaching staff has done that on both sides. Hopefully they've developed a strategy that maybe the Tyrants need to really rely on their service from the inline to maybe expose some passing weaknesses from the Blaze. If they are a little bit more physical or they like to run their middle, serve tougher. Don't let them set the middle, right? Put some pressure on their passing to expose their maybe weaker outside hitters or take away their advantages of setting the middle so much.
Yeah.
And then conversely, going at the Tyrants and focusing on who their better hitters are. Who's going to carry most of the workload offensively? What does the setter like to do? Is he active? Is he going to dump a lot? Knowing the matchups, knowing the rotations, and who's going to do what when situationally is going to pay dividends again for both teams.
Yeah.
And regardless of athleticism or on paper, who looks to be bigger or faster or stronger, who jumps higher, who has a better warm-up in hitting lines,
Yeah.
So, and again, 3 out of 5, could be down 0-2, you come back, you figure it out, you win the next 3, you steal the win.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
It's a game of momentum.
And I got to tell you, from a viewer perspective, you are about to see, if anything was an indicator yesterday, the polar opposite. We were very critical of the serving last match. Tyrants, I would say, if not the best, they're the second best serving team here. Every guy on that team is smashing jump serves. And not only are they hitting them well, they're hitting 80% in, and they are absolutely going to be putting pressure on the serve receive.
Great.
Now, again, admittedly, Blaze had great serve receive yesterday. So it's going to be another battle point that we see, but that is a definite strength for the Tennessee Tyrants. The other one that I want to keep an eye on is the right side for Blaze. There's a very experienced opposite that we're going to see, potentially Joe Torres. But Joe's pretty well known here in this league, and he's got a lot of experience internationally. But he got shut down a little bit yesterday against the Matadors, and they went to one of their youngest guys, Charles Belvin, and he's a lefty oppo that absolutely skies. And he was very, very lethal, swinging with high percentage, great range in his swings, and he was going back, and we were talking about serving progression. This is a guy that in the last year, he has wanted to be involved in this league, and so he learned a lot about his serving progression. When he hits his 100% serve, you're not going to dig it. You are digging. You're not passing. You are digging it, but the problem is it was too hot and cold. So he's dialed it back. He's taken the steps. He's hitting controlled balls into the seam and slowly levels it up. And he was being very effective from the service line yesterday. So if we see him today, number 27, Charles Belvin, is going to be a guy to watch.
Yeah. Nick, touch on the setters for both of these teams if you can. I know the Tyrants, you said, have 4. They've got a setter that's maybe playing outside hitter.
Sure.
The Blaze maybe have a little bit more of an established offensive setter running their team offensive plan. Go into a little depth if you can on their setters.
Absolutely. So number 9, Mike Velatado, is a captain on the LA Blaze, and Mike is a smaller setter, but anyone that's ever seen him play or played alongside this guy, he is extraordinarily physical. He also trusts his setters or his hitters with a high degree. If you get blocked, he knows how and when to go to set back his hitters so that he really gets the most out of them. He's a great team leader on the court with high energy, big blocks. He'll get some surprising ones for you, and you pass the ball tight, you better be ready to block him because he does not dump. He swings. He will step close.
Active.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
He loves to get involved. Now we're seeing a slightly different approach from the setter that we saw yesterday with the Tyrants. Number 1, Ryan Kenny. Fantastic hands. His delivery to the outside was consistent. He was getting great sets for his outside hitters to take advantage of. There was some interesting communication, or the connection was a little bit off in the middle at times, but I wouldn't attribute that to him. It's kind of just a lot of moving factors, but I don't worry that these guys are going to find a way to get involved early. Now, I'm not sure that he is their starting setter today based on some conversations I had, but I don't know that to be true or false, and we'll find out shortly. But Ryan Kenny, if he's their guy, he heck of a setter and had a great day yesterday.
Interesting. Exciting to talk about sort of the intertwined, action to watch throughout this match.
Yeah.
Obviously, these guys all know each other fairly well. They're all competitors. It's going to be a nice test to see here.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to this. We're just getting the lineups in right now, so we're going to take some notes on that real quick. So stick around. Just give us a second here. For the Tyrants, we're going to see Ryan Kenny is, in fact, the guy, so he's going to be setting there, and that's number 1. We're going to be seeing Matt Buffum coming back. He was playing yesterday, number 20. Jake Malnaziak is going to be back into the lineup, of course. That guy was an all-star yesterday. Race Munger opened up with 3 blocks and 2 overpass kills in the middle. He's about 6'10", an absolute force to be reckoned with. He didn't quite get off the ground yesterday offensively, but definitely someone that you've got to keep track of. And it looks like what I was mentioning earlier with Peter Namiotko, he's going to be starting on that right side for them. And that's going to put Ian Kapp in that 0-2 position. So it looks like they're going with the lineup that they finished yesterday, where they definitely looked their strongest. So it's a good look for the Tyrants, and I think we're going to see a good match here. I assume we're going to see, Ryan Alley, number 5. This is a young kid we have got to watch. Their libero is a guy to watch in serve receive. And we were talking about the importance of controlling that back line last set. He is absolutely all over the place, and there is no miscommunication when a free ball comes his way. He knows and makes sure that every guy on his team knows that he is the guy to watch.
So he's in charge of the back row is what you're saying.
Absolutely, no questions asked. Thanks for that, Olivia. I appreciate the lineups there. And we're seeing Blaze coming on with pretty much an entirely new roster here today. So they're bringing out a little bit of a smaller side, but from what I know from the guys that I'm seeing on the court, there's a lot of experience here, also a lot of explosiveness. So we're going to see them playing their smaller middle number 33. That's Desean Graham. This is a guy that you will see make highlight reels if you do not get over the net. He will absolutely go for some 10-foot line bounces. They're going to have some hands now with Chris Cones, number 3. He delivers a lot of consistent setting. And then we've got number 11, that's Masset, Massanet. He played the second half of the set yesterday. This kid digs balls in system and in rallies in an unreal fashion. But he's joined by someone he's played with quite a bit overseas in Puerto Rico, and that's number 8. We're going to see Wilson Martier. He's going to be on their outside. So he's going to be filling that 0-2 role behind Andrew Pearson, who's probably playing in the 0-1 slot. A lot of experience there, and that's going to put, we're going to see Bugs on the right side. Doug in the back row there. Bugs sets to the outside. Pearson with a big swing off of Martier's head, and game ball touches for the booth. That's going to be the first point of the day going the way of Tennessee Tyrants. Something interesting to keep an eye on here. Their opposite, Bugs, is the younger brother of the coach, but he also he is a setter for this team, so he does it all. Plays outside, opposite, and setter. Pearson with a pass to Chris Cones. Cones goes outside. Bugs takes a hard angle swing and is able to get a tool. That's going to go off the hand of Munger there.
All right, here we go, Nick. So we've got it all kind of figured out here to the most part. It looks like the Blaze have clearly sent out sort of their second squad.
Yep.
Maybe taking the Tyrants, you know, maybe a little lightly, just kind of testing the water, seeing how they come out with, seeing if they can maybe get away with their second squad to maybe steal this match. But if I'm a Tyrant player and I see this lineup come out, I'm a little fired up by it.
Absolutely.
Know? I want to take advantage of the opportunity, and if we didn't have a great enough opportunity already, to even more so, you know, see if we can get some momentum and create some urgency and come out and win a match here.
Yeah, and one thing that really works well for this team is there's a bunch of these guys that the way this team was created during their tryouts, a lot of these guys are Orange County, LA area open gym guys that have known each other for a long time. And while they may not have a lot of that D1 pedigree in some of their players, these are guys that have known each other for so long. So there's really good core development in a couple of these players. So that does leverage well. You'll hear it energy on the bench and what you see on the court.
Yeah, look, I mean, volleyball, you get better the more you play volleyball. So
Yeah.
if you played in college, congratulations, that's great. But those guys that have been playing professionally overseas or, you know, even in high-level pickup games or open gyms or rec leagues, that's still some high-level volleyball around.
Absolutely.
So as long as they're playing and getting better, it doesn't matter, you know, where. It's just about your abilities and what your potentials are and making sure you're playing at your highest level.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now we're going to see Victor Villanueva on the back line serving. Or Villarreal, apologies, that's Victor Villarreal. So it's going to be a quick set to the middle. That's Race Munger getting involved early. I was saying yesterday there was a little struggle to get there offensively. No struggle there. That's a big swing.
Look, he's the tallest guy in the squad. He's in the middle. That pass was pushed over to the left side, right side of the court. Set the quick in the seam. He gets a good quick attack and takes advantage of it.
Absolutely. Now we've got, like I said, keep an eye on Ian Cap, a little explosive guy. He's a setter playing outside in that 0-2 position. Chop coming down the line with Bugs, sealed off by Ian Cap. Ian Cap gets that block. Well, that's a good move from the middle, number 20 there as well. That's going to be Matt Buffum following it up.
Yeah, nicely formed block by the Tyrants there. A little bit of chaos play by the Blaze. I'd like to see a little bit more consistent touches there on that side.
Yep, definitely. Pearson with a good pass. Gap run to Desean, and again, that's that physicality you're going to see. Desean knows if he's going to score with his size in the middle, he's got to be up early, create space, and attack seams, and we see it there.
Yeah, to say Desean jumps well is a bit of an understatement.
It is.
He kind of flies.
Yes.
And if I'm the setter, I'm going to set him every chance I get because he can attack at a very high point.
Absolutely. So we're seeing Bugs on the back line, goes for the jump serve, finds it in the court, passed well by the Tyrants, quick back set. Peter Namiotko with a big swing off the outside hand there of number 8, Wilson Martyr.
Yeah, we just need to get our hands over the net a little bit more on that block move. I think his lineup was good, but he reached and did not penetrate the net. And whenever you do that, you're not going to get a block.
And we're seeing the ever-experienced Pedro Nieves, number 4 on the bench, letting his guys know, kind of talking to him about that right now. Pedro's an extraordinarily experienced middle blocker, so that is his wheelhouse. He knows what to do.
Would you say it's almost like having another coach on the floor?
You know, honestly, it's not just one. They've got Greg Faulkner on the bench. Greg Faulkner coaches college. They've got a wealth of guys that coach at a very high level. And yes, there's an army of coaches as well as an army of players. That's a huge swing on the outside there, though. Well handled by the libero on Blaze, goes the outside, and Pearson looks for a chop down the line, does not find the high hands.
So I think that's what you're going to see from this squad that's on the court for the Blaze right now. Maybe trying to do a little too much sometimes. That was a good set in transition. That swing might have been a little overzealous in terms of trying to hit hands. Just get your feet to the ball, jump, hit it high at its highest point, drive it deep, and score the point.
Yep. Tyrants haven't quite gotten off the ground with their serving game as they might have hoped, but Olivia got a great sound clip for us yesterday, and that was during a timeout, and it was, hey, high risk, high reward. These guys are willing to put it all on the line, go to the back line and rip. Float serve coming out of Desean, goes deep, but it's passed well. High ball, go to the outside, and Jake is absolutely going to do that every time. If you've got a high ball, he's probably one of the best high ball outsides hitting in the gym right now. if I heard right, I think he's 22 or 23 years old, young guy that is just going to be an absolute force to be reckoned with as he continues to level up in this league.
Yeah, he's going to carry a heavy load for this squad as well throughout this match and the remainder of the tournament.
Buffum puts a serve short there, unfortunately, and finds the bottom of the tape. That's going to put Chris Cones on the back line for Blaze. And hey, we said it last match at the very beginning, men's volleyball. A little bit cold, everyone's still trying to find their rhythm, and I hate to see the float serves, though.
You know, the pregame warm-ups, I don't see a lot of time for these guys to serve in their warm-ups. You know, there's a lot to do to warm up and get the engine running. Small amount of time. Serving isn't always at the highest priority, and typically these matches have traditionally started off a little bit slow from the inline, and we're seeing a lot of missed serves, unfortunately. But.
Absolutely. Andrew Pearson passed very well yesterday. He was able to, what he does well is he airs balls out, so even if he's not putting it on the 4-foot line, he'll put it high in the middle of the court that allows you to go pin to pin, and he was able to do it there and find a good swing. Race Munger going high, dug by Chris Cohn, set by Massanet, goes to the outside. Martier with a swing deep into the court, dug by the libero there, goes to the big option. And there's Jake finding it in, goes into the seam. Big swing by number 9 there, Jake Malnaziak, showing everybody what he's got.
Nice deep swing in transition by Jake out of the back row. Aim for the corner, right in front of the linesman, called it in, score the point.
Jake goes to the float serve there instead of a jump serve. And we see Victor there, number 23, kind of goes just a little bit of a misconnect or not quite getting what he wants on that ball. And I can tell you safely that Race Munger in the middle is not going to let that get past him.
Yeah, I would look at the blockers. If I'm the setter for Blaze, I'm looking at the blockers and seeing who I want to target and probably get my set more towards. I like the repeat, though, back to the middle. Get him going.
There's Ian Cap. You just see these extraordinarily athletic, explosive outsides for the Tyrants, and they do not swing low seam.
No.
They know that their place in this is going high hands, cutting it back off the line, and challenging undisciplined blocking.
If you're a young, undersized outside hitter out there, you want to watch guys like this play. You want to see them aim for hands, not drop their arm, hit the ball straight down, hit deep, hit fingers.
Finding touches like that.
Finding touches, yeah, absolutely.
And again, we talk about the importance of a good libero. First ball is dug by the setter there from Ryan Kenny, and then you see a back set over his shoulder, 5 feet inside the court, 5 feet off the net, give his guy a chance to not be a clamp block set, and there you go.
Yep, and you get an early timeout called by LA Blaze.
Yeah.
They got to burn one early. It's 12-8, down by 4 early in this first set. Trying to right the ship, figure it out a little bit, kind of find some communication. You see there, 3, 4, 5 coaches over there.
Yeah.
And trying to discuss what they need to do to sort of, turn it around right now. Well, the Tyrants have got the momentum. They're swinging high hands, and the Blaze is having a hard time stopping them.
Yeah, and something you're going to run into with that, based on the guys that I see on the court with this Blaze roster, there's not a go-to. There's not a lot of the guys you can play through.
Yeah.
Andrew Pearson, again, he's a very aggressive guy. He's the guy you put a high ball up, and he's going to step close. He'll get there and make a good swing. But we saw earlier, sometimes he'll get a little overzealous, miss those high hands, and take a swing that isn't optimal. So we'll have to see how those guys kind of step in. Good pass, though, by Pearson here. And Victor on the back one, but taken not handled well. Tyrants have a ball on their side. Race Munger goes for the step close, though. Martier steps in, and a little bit of a questionable decision there, I think, by Race, and Martier makes him pay for it.
Yeah, it's a funny little play on both sides, but I think we're just going to have to work through some of these quirky little plays and, keep your eye on the prize and keep the momentum on your side and let the kind of crazy little onesie-twosies go the way they go.
Yep. Good high ball in the middle of the court, goes to the backside, and that's going to be a big swing there from number 14, Peter Namiotko.
Yeah, he got his body behind that ball for sure. He's got a big shoulder. That kind of brought that out of nowhere and put some good sauce behind that.
Yeah, absolutely. Race Munger goes deep, finds the ace in the corner. Massanet, libero, and Blaze points as he knows that goes in. Something that I do enjoy seeing in these kind of tournaments is a guy like Peter Namiotko, who was not a starter yesterday, coming in, making a difference, and then you see the coach Justin for the Tyrants knowing that that's going to be his guy for now, and he gets a chance to play, and Namioka gets a chance to be on the court, and his efforts being rewarded.
Yeah, take advantage of the opportunity. Don't play scared. Come in, swing high, hard, be aggressive, over-communicate, have a presence on the court. And next time when the coach is right in the lineup, he's going to think about you and not the guy that's not making those contributions.
A little bit of an aggressive toss there for Bugs, and number 24 is going to send that long. We've got front row setters right now. Chris Cones does not typically play as an aggressive forward dumper. He does have the cheeky back one-handed dump in his repertoire. That's handled okay, but Martier's going to have to swing into a triple block. Didn't find the touch there, and that's going to go sent long. Nice triple block there by the Tyrants.
Okay, Nick, so the Blaze is down by 6. It's halfway through the first set. If you're the coach, what do you do?
Well, it comes down to two things. One, if you're playing to get guys court time, get them experience, and you just want to play that out and save some of your starters, you let it go. You try to build some confidence. So right now, I'm focusing on building up their confidence and some energy. However, this is the match that you view as a must-win, and you're out here, then I'm getting my guys warm. I'm going to let these guys finish that match out, try to start building some energy, and I'm ready to make some adjustments. If I need a new leader on the court, that's where I might make a substitution change with my setter. Maybe get a big outside in there to get him warm right now, so he's not coming in cold in the change in 2. But yeah, based on what I know Coach Bugs is trying to do, I think she wants these guys to see a little bit of court time and get them some court experience.
I like that philosophy of getting them some time on the court,
yeah.
Right? What I don't like is that you put them in as a starting role, which is what they're not familiar with.
Yeah.
Put your A squad in. Let them get a 1.5 game set lead. Right, and then start putting your guys in. Let your A squad create the momentum, get control of the match, and then start putting these guys in that you want some court time, and then let them ride that wave of momentum. Right.
Sure.
But right now, as a starting group, you're putting them in a position that they're not maybe that familiar with.
Right.
And I think that's what you're seeing right now. They're reacting to a Tyrant starting squad, and you're seeing a lot of sort of unnecessary bad errors. That aren't that aggressive, maybe hitting out of bounds, missing serves, a little nervous to communicate with one another, but you're down by 8 points now, so you have to figure something out here.
Yeah, and it's one of those things I tend to prefer with the ideology that you get a couple of starters in there, even if you're going to start a couple guys that wouldn't normally start. And Pearson misses that swing down the line, but the way that I typically would prefer going about it is get 3 or 4 of your starters and then get a couple guys that are going to complement and supplement them and get them on the court if you want to start them. But that way you can kind of have a happy mix, and so when you need to go to, you've got one out there, and I think right now they're kind of missing that.
Yeah, you got to have someone with some presence on the court. Right now, the Blaze have 6, 7 guys on the court, but no one's running the show.
Right, absolutely. But if you're Tyrants, hey, right now, the big thing you're pushing, though, on a roster that I don't know how deep they are still, you are absolutely going for a 3-game win.
Oh, for sure.
Save your guys,
100%.
Save your legs, punish as fast as you can. You want to blow out.
100% agree with you.
Pearson goes with a good ball, goes to the outside, and he swings hard angle, and he is just not finding the court. We've seen him miss high deep. We've seen him miss line. Now he's missed wide angle. He's got a normal bit of he's got an arm. He's got a live arm, but just not finding it right now. And you can see some movement on the Blaze bench. So I don't know if there's a different if some words going down there to get guys ready.
Well, this game's basically done.
There's that back dump I'm talking about, but a good little scrap, and good ball aired out by Peter there. Backside Bick, just missed there by Ian Cobb. Cap, switch the vowel and the double consonant there. Ian Cap.
Maybe a slight sense of urgency from the Blaze. They see an error by the Tyrants. They want to capitalize on that. But they have some serious room to make up right now.
Huge dig by Massanet in the back row, and big back-to-back digs. He's all over it. Sends it over, free ball, and resets. Back set goes, and a tip over the top picked up. Massanet's now going to set a bump set out to Pearson. Pearson finds high hands. Tight pass going to the net, goes to the outside, and Jake Malnaziak unloading.
he's got a heavy arm. I mean, that's lively, right? If he's been a setter his whole life, he's
their outside. Ian Cap, number 4, is the setter. So
okay, all right.
Gives you a little bit more context, but this kid can play.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of one of those things that, one of those interesting insights when you talk about guys that are kind of earning their keep with Blaze. I was saying it before the match, Massanet, the libero over there, when we first saw him, there was a little event that a lot of the NBA teams played in when we brought Team Freedom into the league, and we all went out to New Jersey. We played in a little event. We had about 4 or 5 of the teams out there, and we had a little farm team kind of come together from Puerto Rico and bring a guy up, some of the guys up there, and that's where we saw for the first time the libero number 11 Massanet, and then number 8 Martyr for the first time. Those were 2 of their standout players, and Massanet was impressing everyone all weekend long. We saw it there, 2 back-to-back digs. Whether you want him to stand in, dig a ball, or you need him to read a tip, he covers the entire court. So definitely someone that's going to be anchoring the less experienced team.
Yeah, let's say that he has the body type of a very good libero. And by that I mean he is compact. He's very light on his toes.
And I'm not sure he weighs triple digits.
That's probably a good assumption.
Got a float serve coming out here from the setter. That's Ryan Kenny. Going backside, Pearson now finds the net. Pearson's not able to perform here, but you know, we talk about the roles and expectations. When he was the second outside yesterday behind Pablo Guzman, he was absolutely going off, having a great time, filling that role of an 0-2 wonderfully. But now when you don't have a clear direction, he's trying to do too much and making the errors.
Yeah. Oh.
All right, I think we got some input here. Olivia, what are you hearing during that timeout? I think we're having some technical difficulties.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear
you.
Okay,
on the Blaze side in that last timeout, it was really interesting when you talk about, let's say, the A team and the B team, and the A team was really looking to those guys that are on the court right now, and they said, we need you to find a rhythm. We really need you. And that goes to what we talked about yesterday. Their squad used it as an advantage that they have those fresh legs to go to, and if they don't have that, they're really going to need them to step up.
Absolutely, you know, and we're gonna have to see how they're able to manage that. And I swear, management is the word of the weekend. Whether it's how you're playing game to game, match to match, how the coaches want to handle their roster, you know, emotional management on court, and we're gonna see how those guys are able to battle with it.
Yeah, and you've only got 3 matches to figure it out before you make it to the playoff rounds.
Yep.
Find your lineups and your matchups.
Race Munger is one of those middles that I really, just now that I've seen him, I don't associate him with being your offensive middle, but man, is he a middle blocker. That guy is disciplined, knows how to get out to his pins, get over the net, and he's a man to be reckoned with.
That was a nicely well-formed block by him, for sure. He closed off the seal. He sealed the angle and took advantage of that. Nice block for set number 1 going to the Tyrants.
Yeah, 25-14. That's
it's a heavily lopsided first set.
Yep.
I think we know why. It'll be interesting to see how Blaze responds to that. I think the Tyrants obviously now have all the momentum. They don't need to make any changes. They keep doing what they're doing, but maybe level up just one more notch. Keep the pressure on whatever comes out on the other side of the net.
Yep.
And keep playing within yourselves and putting the pressure on them. Because right now, all the pressure's on the Blaze.
Yep.
Tyrants are playing free. They're playing loose. They're having fun. They're enjoying each other. They're enjoying the time on the court. And it shows when you 25-14 in a first set. That's a pretty big blowout.
Absolutely, and you know, I think I misspoke earlier yesterday. I think Blaze only played the 1 match, so I think they've got both the Stingers today and this match here. So being down 0-1, you really want to find yourself at least 2-1 coming out of this, you know, your 3 matches. That because the impact is first place doesn't play until Sunday, second place plays Saturday night. 3rd and 4th are going to play 3rd and 4th from the other bracket. So you've really got to start at the bottom and battle through layers and layers of teams, and that's a long road.
That is for sure. That could be a potential, you know, additional 5 sets, 10 sets, depending on where you finish. And so being in first place in your pool will pay huge dividends if you have a day off on Saturday.
And when you talk, when you talk about management, you know, that was something that we were seeing yesterday in the Stunners Ramblers match. Stunners has a very small lineup. And so they've got to win and get first to get their guys rested. If they're playing 4 days, they're going to be a tired spot, I think.
Absolutely.
But you know, Ramblers had a different approach. They went to their B team, kind of like we saw, and making sure the guys are getting court experience because they're confident that today we're going to come out and try to get that 2-1.
Yeah, personnel management, something that you don't really think about sometimes, but when you have a 4-day tournament with 8 teams, that's something that's going to be very prevalent in this event.
Absolutely. So now for anyone that's just tuning in, the teams will be remaining on the same sides of the court because we are trying to make sure all of our athletes are safe. Everything's being handled with COVID. We're doing a lot of wiping down of benches, balls, everything like that. So there's going to be no teams swapping sides. Now, to get back in and talk about what we were kind of discussing earlier, you're now seeing a bunch of the veterans. The only person that is kept in is Malnaziak, as well as the setter Chris Cones. Obviously, we're talking, I think Chris honestly set quite well. He didn't have a lot of tools to go with there.
Yeah.
Chris is a very scrappy guy. You're going to see him cover his hitters very well, playing great defense and back right, gets a lot of good touches. Malnaziak was obviously playing quite well, but we're now bringing in that Charles Belvin, which I'm excited to see him. He's an explosive player, partnered alongside Pablo Guzman, who's a very experienced outside hitter. You're going to have some explosiveness in the middle with Greg Faulkner, as well as Pedro Nieves coming in, and then lastly rounded off by Jonathan Rodriguez. But Rodriguez back row looks like he's going to be passing here, so we got a little more insight. Olivia, fill us in.
Thanks, Nick. On the Blaze side in that last huddle, they knew that they were going to make some big changes, but they said, let's control the serve and pass. The middles are bailing right now. They know we're going to the pins. On the opposite side of the court, they said, we need to pick up serves. We've missed a few. We need to put the ball in play and trust our blocking. We're blocking really well. Let's be super aggressive because the Tyrants know that they're seeing a different Blaze team now, and they know that they're going to pick up their energy. And Coach said on that Tyrant side, he said, whatever you need to tell yourself to keep the energy where it is right now, you need to do it.
Absolutely, and we're going to see that all come to fruition here. And if you saw it there, number 27, Charles Belvin, this guy's an emotional leader for the Blaze guys, and he's going to get them fired up where they need to be real quick. I don't expect a lot of I don't expect to see a lot of delay as they try to get going. Belvin looks to pull on the net there and hope the ref doesn't see it and try to get a net call. Does not go his way at all. Chris Cones goes backsides to Pablo Guzman. Guzman stopped. That's again Race Munger working with Ian Cap there. Just a well-formed block, and Olivia dead on. You know, they're really going to be using that block. Their serve is going well, but not quite as well as yesterday. But they're putting a lot of those efforts into the block touches, so that's going to extend rallies.
Yeah, and you know, interesting to see this squad now for Blaze come out and play against a team that has all the momentum on their side. Couple kind of funny little plays. Those guys that didn't play the first set, they've got to get into match mode. They need to, you know, focus and be concentrated on a referee and, you know, scoreboard and doing their job. So it's a very interesting kind of inner game right now within this match.
And we talked a lot on the Blaze there between games. Tennessee Tyrants made no changes, so there wasn't much to discuss there. So just to kind of formalize that and make sure everyone's on the same page, that's a good pass. We're going to the middle, and that's Race Munger swinging high, dug up by Pablo Guzman in the back row. Swing goes outside. Number 14 with a big swing. Dug by Jake, goes to the set. Number 1, Ryan goes up. Then back set to Peter Namiotko with a big swing into the angle. But again, having to respect Race Munger there gives him a huge seam. He's one-on-one on the block against number 14, Jonathan Rodriguez, with number 4, Pablo Nieves, nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, again, I think you start in that first set, maybe on the bench, you cool down a little bit. You see that there's a sense of urgency, but you really got to put that into your feet and make the moves on the court in order to make an impact on the scoreboard.
Yep, and there's Charles Belvin coming in. Loud guy, big swing down the line, lefty chop there. That's a high IQ play. And, you know, I talk about him a lot, and I'll admit it's a little bit of bias because I've watched this guy as an NAIA player from Hope just continuously challenge himself to do everything he can to find a way on the court, and he's earned his keep, so
yeah,
excited to see him continue.
Great story of, you know, personal development, volleyball development over time.
And
great block move right there, solo block.
He plays big, man. He plays up there. During the offseason, he wasn't sure he was going to be able to see court time as a right side, so he actually started training as an outside, learning to pass, developing his defensive skills. Looks like he's back on the right side now, but that's the end result is an opposite that can play a great back row defense.
Yeah.
That's a win-win all the way around.
Clearly athletic. Looks like he'd be a strong role player, good team guy.
Yep. Serve goes just long there for Pedro. That's going to put Peter on the back line. And since Peter is a Tennessee Tyrant, that means he's going to be jump serving. Good pass, handled well by Pablo there. Outside set to Rodriguez and chopped down through the line there.
Yeah, good adjustment by Rodriguez there on that swing. He came in a little fast, and maybe the set was a little bit higher than what he was expecting, but he adjusted his approach and got some good, solid wood on that attack.
There's that serving progression. Charles goes the 80%, goes across and hits the seam. Monsonet unable to come up with that one. Across the board, that was very, very technically sound by the Tennessee Tyrants.
I like the Tyrants going quick early. You know, they get a good pass up to the net. They take advantage of it, set the quick, get the fast kill, and take advantage of the point and move on.
It's funny, earlier we were talking about the relationship between the Tyrants and the Freedom, and you see the entire team Freedom after their match just now hanging out and watching all their boys on the back line. And one big family over there.
Yeah, and maybe scouting the competition a little bit
also
too.
Very true.
It's the only other team in this place, but I guess everybody can watch from home, right? Because we're live streaming. So.
Yes, sir. Wait, we're live?
We are live. This is live volleyball from Utah.
It's a good pass, high ball in the middle court. Pins are your options there, and that's going to be going outside to Jake. Charles digs it off the ceiling, looking for a set from Chris Cones. Goes to the outside. Pablo Guzman chops down the line. Dug in the back row by Ian Cap. Outside, goes to the middle. That is a big swing out of the middle from Matt Bufferman. That was one of my things early on. I was saying I wanted to see them establish a middle. They didn't really do a great job of that yesterday. And both number 8 and number 20 finding their way to score some points.
Yeah, it's nice to see. I was sort of expecting the setter to maybe dump in that situation as he got pushed back into a seam. But good team player, set his middle, give the credit to him, take the kill, and move on.
Good pass there from Rodriguez. Big swing into the back row, and he finds it. Chop goes down the line. Faulkner with a touch on the block. That's going to be 7 touches on the side of the Tyrants. That ball bounces around like a pinball machine.
Three too many touches on that one.
Yep.
But nice sitting pancake play by the Tyrants.
One thing I was a little critical of yesterday with Blaze is, you know, you got Greg Faulkner out there. Anyone that knows, this guy's been around USA volleyball a long time, played overseas. You need to utilize that guy. Another one of those players you can set a foot and a half higher than most middles, and he'll find a swing. That did not go, but touch was seen. There's Race Munger with it, and Charles Belvin comes up with a big dig. Rodriguez can't find the court.
Let's go back to what you were touching on with Greg Faulkner there. I totally agree with you. I mean, from the Blaze, I don't know how many sets they've given their middle blockers so far in this game, but they definitely need to be feeding those guys. You got 2 of the best middles in the tournament. You got to use them.
And not with a forced set like that. We'll see it go, though. Charles with a big swing from the D-ball, dug and picked up. Race Munger tries to go backwards, and Pedro Nieves has seen that move before.
Yeah, that's a good veteran play by Pedro for sure. I mean, he knows what's coming, and he had his hands up early. He's big enough. He doesn't have to cheat or do anything like that. You know, his volleyball IQ is at a point where he knows that that's going to come.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very disciplined play by him.
Good pass there by Cap. Goes backside from Jake. Jake swings long. Little uncharacteristic. He's had some misses down the line. That yesterday he was having a lot of success with the angle swing, and that started to open some easy line swings up for him. Right now, maybe trying to force a little bit of some cheeky line stuff, so we'll see if he makes that adjustment.
Yeah, play within yourself. Do what works for you. Do what's got you here. Don't go outside your comfort zone. And
Race Munger with a big swing, but once again, there's that Chris Cones defense I was talking about. Big dig down there, and unfortunately doesn't quite go that way. And a little bit of a dichotomy here with last match for Southern Exposure. We were seeing some faults on the right side defense there between the setter and opposite. And right now we've got a lot of right side digs happening for Blaze over here. So we'll see if they can kind of make that into turn that into some points for them. Jump serve from Jake. Big serve. There it is. There's the ace. Jake Malnaziak might have missed that swing on the right, but he is certainly still hot and ready to put it in on the back line.
Yeah, good bounce back by Jake. A little bit of communication error between the libero and number 14 for Blaze, talking about who has what seam. That needs to be established and understood on who's going to pass what in that situation.
Yep, absolutely. But there's the serve that goes short, and that's going to open Blaze up to a 2-point lead here. You know, you're feeling comfortable that you've got a lead, especially after that blowout in the first one, but I don't know if you have warm fuzzies that you're starting to rotate your A squad back in, except for maybe your setter, and only got a 2-point lead here.
I mean, there's still some work to be done for sure on both sides. Again, Tyrants playing with the momentum from the first set, and Blaze trying to recover from that first set with guys that didn't play.
Yep. And we're seeing Race Munger really show a different offensive capability than he had last time.
Yeah,
right.
his contributions through the front row are very key and will continue to be highly important for the Tyrants if they want to win this match.
Absolutely. We've got a serving sub coming in now. That's number 6. It's going to be Eddie Kiesecker. And he was playing some outside yesterday for Tyrants periodically, but it looks like he's going to be the guy going to for some serving sub. Decent ball, but handled well by Blaze, and that's a net coming through on the side of the Tyrants. Quick tip over his shoulder there, kind of jamming that ball down, really forced the Tyrants to make a quick move they weren't expecting to, and caught him in the net.
Yeah, decent serve sub, but the pass was too good. Quick attack, you know, connection there still needs to be worked on a little bit more, but got let off the hook by the net fault.
Yep. It's a good pass by Cap. Set's going to go to that Bick, and Jake gets another kill.
Just seeing a little bit of undisciplined play from the Blaze. That ball is clearly out of bounds, trying to get a one-handed stab dig.
Indecision for sure. You could see it on his face and in his action.
Definitely, definitely. I don't know if he's really right in the correct defensive position. Got
caught pretty shallow there. Big serve by Peter, but that's going to go long. Tyrants are definitely not serving with the same efficiency they were last night, but you know, when you're playing this well, I think that you keep honestly riding that green light for most of your guys. And
yeah, I mean, it helps in order to create the momentum too that you're going to need throughout this match. You got it in the first set, they make some lineup changes, and now you're playing a little bit more defensive because you're down. Keep playing free. Just go out and have fun, hit the ball, and be aggressive.
Absolutely. And there's a touch called on that by a line judge. Looks like he's overruled there that no touch occurred. So that's going to stay for Blaze. We're going to see Charles Belvin once again on the back line. And again, you know, we talk about how critical serving is, but when you're passing, blocking, and hitting well, like the Tyrants are, you can afford to miss some of your serves because you're finding success elsewhere.
Agreed. Totally agreed.
Charles goes to the off speed, forces, yep, there's a net on Greg Faulkner. So something interesting I want to talk about. I was a little curious when we saw number 14 in for the Blaze. As Jonathan Rodriguez is rostered as a middle, Greg Faulkner is now currently playing outside. Or at least he was blocking on the left there.
Yeah, you're correct, Nick. He was blocking on the left. I did notice that as well. Might have just been some kind of scheme that they were trying to run in that certain lineup. The Tyrants had a front row setter. Maybe they thought Greg could do a good job of protecting the dump, but also maybe commit blocking on the middle and letting Rodriguez go to the outside for a two-man block.
Yes.
Let's call that a trap.
Yeah.
Back in the day. So,
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, play a couple of blocking defense games, make the setter see what's going on, think a little bit more, get in his head a little bit.
But that's little stuff. We were talking about management though, and that's some heads up play. You see some experienced players looking for something different, so we'll keep an eye on that. Float serve goes in, well handled, and there's a great dig by middle in the back row there. Matt Buffum, Ian Cap with a big swing, playing the ceiling there. Tipped over by Pablo. Set goes to the outside, and Jake tools line.
Smart swing by Jake over there. You've got Greg Faulkner and you've got the setter blocking.
Yep.
Who are you going to hit at? The 6'8" middle or the 6-foot setter?
Yep.
You're going to attack the setter every single time, and if that setter's hands aren't in the right spot, he's going to get tooled all day long.
Yeah, and you know, we came into the match talking about how Jake was going to be the guy to watch. Jake is picking everything up right back where he left off last night. I know you weren't able here to see it, but I can tell you confidently, this guy is not missing a beat right now. And we're seeing a little bit of trouble from Pablo Guzman as he's one of those outsides that where he might lack some of the bounce and physicality, he really finds success with a heavy arm swing and a high IQ. He's got a wide range of shots, and yesterday he was really being a team leader. Right now, we're not seeing whether it's a connection on the sets or He's just not feeling it because he's not warm yet. He's kind of playing a lot of tips and rolls and chop shots, and they're just not going down for him.
Yeah, needs to be a little bit more disciplined maybe on the defensive side of the ball, and a little bit more aggressive offensively for sure. He does need to find himself. I mean, we're 15-15 in the second set. This is a dogfight still, you know, regardless of where you were when you started the match, either on the court or on the bench. You're on the court now, so you got to produce and help your squad out.
Now, again, as well as I think the Tyrants are playing, again, this is kind of that thing where when I look at the scoreboard, I would have thought Tyrants is up by 4 or 5 points.
Agreed.
And so with Blaze, with some obvious things to fix, I think Blaze is in actually a decent spot to really start taking control of this match.
It could go either way, I'm going to say, Nick. I mean, they're there, but not quite. And Tyrants keep making plays like this to see if they score a point.
Ball is out.
Could be a good momentum swing right there.
Yeah, and you know, obviously, I'm kind of talking about the potential here. I don't necessarily think that Tyrants are going to lose this by any means, but I think that Blaze has a little bit more room to expand how well they're playing. I think we're seeing Tyrants in their stride. So there's a huge foot fault from Faulkner on the back line, and that's going to tie us back up here at 16.
I kind of think I see a little too much over effort by the Blaze, which can result in some uncharacteristic errors or some pressure errors, as opposed to being able to play freely and making aggressive errors. They're making the errors because they're overexerting what they're trying to do.
Absolutely, and Chris Cones with a nice set to the backside. And once again, Charles Belvin is one of the least experienced guys, showing that he's ready to hang it out. Olivia, what do you got for us?
Thanks, Nick. You talk about that overexertion that we might be seeing from the Blaze, and the main point of contention in that last huddle was energy. They wanted the bench up on their feet, really bringing that energy to the guys on the court. And on the opposite side for the Tyrants, they looked to Jake Malnaziak and just kind of talked about his reads, and let's try and hit the hard cross. Nick?
Absolutely, and I mean, respecting Jake wow. There it is, Malnaziak. I got it. 4th time's a charm.
It's a tongue twister.
Yeah, I've had a couple. Everyone online's probably had a good couple laughs at me with a couple of these last names. Huge dig by Jake. Bump set goes to the backside, and Jake's going to send that over. Chris Cones setters out, and that's going to be a set from Massanet. Charles gets a tip that falls through.
Unfortunate play there, the way that ball kind of bounced around.
Yeah. Munger couldn't quite get a hold of it.
I think he was a little overzealous on that block move, and maybe should have stayed down and let the back row take that overset.
But hey, we're seeing the young blood over there, and Charles Belvin still scoring points, and got to keep watching him. See if Pablo can make something happen on the back line here. Serves it deep. High ball in the middle of court gives some options to the Tyrants, and that's Ian Kapp swinging a nice deep swing. No touch called. Tyrants are getting a little aggravated here. I think they've seen some calls go differently, but you know, like you said all day long, the ref's the one that blows the whistle.
Yeah, unfortunately, you know, we don't have the Eagle Eye system or the challenge or the super slow-mo, you know, that they do internationally here. He was clearly swinging for fingers, and he either got him and nobody saw, or he just missed. So the ball never lies.
Yeah, there it is. Pablo Guzman serves it long, and you know every guy on the Tyrants over here letting them know.
The old saying, the ball never lies.
And the real truth is we all know that ball is a dirty liar and lies all the time. We're just figuring out the substitution here in the book. As our team gets that all straightened out, that's going to go ahead and put
more subs.
Eddie Kiesecker on the back. Actually, Eddie Kiesecker, so he was already subbed in and subbed out. So there's some... I think illegality, and yeah, we see Blaze. I don't know the overall implications of this in terms of if it's a card for an illegal sub, but
it's a time delay yellow card, but it's not a change of serve. It's one too many substitutions.
Yeah.
Like you can't, once you go in, you come out, you're done.
Yep.
You can't sub in for a different player, and you can't do it more than once in men's volleyball. So that's all it is. No points. No rotation checks. Everybody's good here. So,
and that's going to leave Race Munger here on the back line at 19-18. Tyrants down by 1. Race puts in a good serve short, pass well, goes to the backside on Belvin. Belvin with a huge swing into the angle.
That is a free swing by him. He is not afraid to swing as hard as he can.
Yep.
He's a lefty, right side player. Tricky ball to block if you're the outside blocker. Maybe move your block in, force him to hit line, you know, try something different. Get in front of his body, take away that angle swing, and make sure your middle closes with you. But that was a nice swing by him.
Serve here. Oh, good serve by Rodriguez, but still handled well by Cap. Goes to the backside, and Peter Namiotko goes for a tip there, or an off-speed shot. And Faulkner hits a 4-ball. There's that rotation. Greg Faulkner running a quick out to the pin, and that's going to force a Tyrant timeout as Blaze extends their lead to 3 points.
I'm curious about what the philosophy is here, having Greg Faulkner hit left side. I mean, I know he's big, he's tall. He's got a heavy arm, and he can get his body behind it.
Yeah.
Produce some points for them. But I've never seen him play outside. Maybe he's been playing a lot on the beach out in Southern California.
Yeah.
But whatever.
You know,
efficiency scored the point. So
the only time I've ever seen something similar to this is out in college club volleyball, the U.S. Air Force team. When I was there, when I was playing against those guys, they had 3 middles. They ran a 3-middle system, so at all times they had 3 middles on the court. That meant they could run some pretty crazy combos, and their opposite could pass. So one of their normal outside slots was actually a middle. Then they had an outside, an opposite, and a libero.
Okay.
And that allowed for a lot of combination plays for them that they...
hey, make the best with what you got, you know?
It was certainly an interesting look. So any given time, you had 2 middles front row. There's a lot of different looks. So not quite the same thing, but
offensively, you're going to be able to do some things that you couldn't traditionally do. Double quicks, you know, 31s, back ones, maybe you know, a couple lobs. Who knows what? But,
yep. So
see what they do.
That's a good serve here by Pedro, but we're seeing the middle run. Chris goes outside. Charles shows that off speed. He can bang and he can roll. There's a triple block there. Charles sees it well, and that little finesse over the top.
So, you know, you're starting to see a little bit of momentum being taken by the Blaze here. The guys on the bench they're celebrating their successes. The guys on the floor, they're smiling. You're seeing a couple change-ups from the Oppo over there with the heavy heat and then the roll shot. The Tyrants maybe getting a little bit more timid, but that's a nice bounce back right there. For
absolutely. Sure. Matt Buffin showing what he's got right there, and this is going to be another serving sub. So we're going to see number 3, Mitch Wiskershin, coming in. Good float serve, handled well by Pablo, goes to the outside, and that's Rodriguez tipping that ball with pressure down. Set back to him, and he's going to swing this time, but dug by Jake. Set by the middle, Matt Buffin there, goes to the outside. Ian Cap with a good swing deep. Massonet goes for a set to the outside. Belvin looks for an out-system swing, and Charles Belvin is unstoppable right now.
He is swinging with pure confidence, not afraid to get blocked. Great set from the libero from the far opposite corner of the court. Nice step closed by the opposite. Good aggressive swing for the point.
This is what you love to see. I love seeing the young blood. Same thing we got out here. Number 9, Jake. You know, Malnaziak going against Charles has been it's a good thing to watch. And there's Jake trying to answer back, but there you go, double middle block. You want to talk about disciplined blocking? Try swinging into Greg Faulkner and number 14, Jonathan Rodriguez up there. That is not a big I would ever want to hit.
And unfortunately for the Tyrants, they really have no back row D attack right now because they had a serving substitution for their opposite. So front row setter, no true back row right side attacker. You know, figure out how to sort of expand their offense on this next serve receive option here.
Yeah, and you know, that is the one thing that I think out of all the teams here, I think that the Tyrants are missing that big right side.
Yeah,
we're seeing a lot of production from Stingers. They've got Jorge. He's been doing very well for them. We're seeing a lot of explosiveness from the Stunners right side. Ryan Mather on the Ramblers. Santiago for the Matadors. There's a lot of right sides, and they're relying on D-balls and their bailout.
Yeah, I mean, you can't understate the importance of a strong opposite hitter. They produce points, and you look at it on every level of the sport, professionally, overseas, domestically, national, Olympic level. The opposite gets the most amount of swings. Their arm is unbelievably strong. They're serving from the inline, and they are relied on heavily for production for points.
So we'll see if they're able to overcome that with some strength from the middle and the outside. But Belvin back to serve, finds serves a bit long. That's a good point for Coach Justin on the side of the Tyrants there.
You know, we talked about this earlier. We never like to see someone miss a serve on game point, but when you're up by 5 points, 4 points.
Coming out of a timeout.
Coming out of a timeout, it's okay. But there you go. Tyrants get a free serve as hard as they want. You score a quick ace, it's a point.
Ian Cap going back there with confidence and absolutely swinging for it.
But can you do it again?
Money, I got money on says yes. I believe in him.
Dinner's on you, Nick.
That's back-to-back aces, and at this level of play, that's uncommon, to say the least.
That's great player preparation by you. You know the players that we're talking about, what they like to do, what they're capable of. See a timeout called by Blaze here to try to ice the server first and foremost. Maybe contemplate putting 4 passers out there.
Yeah.
Make sure everybody knows their seams. Take another step back maybe. You know, let that ball come to them. Make sure your front row players are ready for the serve off the net. You know, the little trickler.
Yep. Don't get beat silly.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
There's the trick. You talk about a 4-man serve receive. Let's get Greg Faulkner back there, man. Let the guy show what he's been learning on the beach. Get that 6'9" platform back there. And
I mean, he'll be able to take up some good space, but I don't know if he could pass very well. I haven't seen him pass.
No, that's not something you want to see. But actually, at this point in the rotation, he is now the middle, I believe, with Rodriguez back. But you're seeing actually Charles Belvin is stepping in. Those reps that he's got as an outside trainer, he's stepping in as the right side passer. So the opposite is there, but third ace in a row coming out of the outside.
And you didn't take double or nothing, so that's too bad out of you.
I wasn't trying to buy breakfast tomorrow either.
And it's 24-23. We've got a game, Nick. Can he make another one? Oh!
That's 4 in a row.
That's 4 aces in a row.
I think if I was tripling down, I'd be buying lunch for the trip.
You better thank the net for that little English that was produced off that little tip. And,
yes, sir.
Now we're tied at 24.
And now I'm disagreeing with the Blaze not going to a 4-man serve receive. I think that number 14, Jonathan Rodriguez, has been passing fine. Yeah. Minimize your seams. Get all 4 back there.
Yeah.
That's a great ball. Huge pickup. Jake is able to squeak that by on the pin.
Wow. What a play.
So, now I might be mistaken. I believe the back row sub that has occurred, putting number 3 from the Tyrants in, I think this is one more of their Army setters, setters in the Army of setters over there. I'm pretty sure that Mitch has hands because that was a diving set from the serving sub.
Oh, it was out. Sorry. Oh, it was close.
That was very close. But we saw Mitch as the out-of-system setter there, back row serving sub, take a diving set to find that ball to the pin. We see a serving sub on the side of Blaze. We're seeing Andrew Pearson coming in as a serving sub for Jonathan Rodriguez there. And
Key time to make your serve right here.
Absolutely, and a pretty easy game plan, I got to say, on the side of Tyrants. Pass the ball high, put it up there, and let Jake swing. Good dig by Pearson. Massanet with a nice pass. Pablo goes for a chip, and that's good off-block defense there, but overpass. Massanet runs the system, goes to the backside, and Charles Belvin, if he hasn't failed once, why not now?
Yeah.
Charles Belvin going 1,000. I think he's 6 kills in the game, if I'm not counting incorrectly.
These teams are just trading haymakers right now.
Yep. Andrew Pearson with a big dig there to come in with that substitution and find that and keep that rally alive for the Blaze. Going back to Jake because he's your money man. Ball is in. Talk about range and threat. This guy goes hard angle and then finds a line bounce like that.
Again, smart awareness to know that the setter's blocking in front of him. Don't hit cross court against the 6'9" Faulkner. Hit line against the shorter setter.
Absolutely. Massanet stabs at that ball. That's a great serve by the middle. Set's going to go back outside to Jake, and he is their go-to. Tools that off the block, and we are seeing the Tennessee Tyrants on a run trying to steal this game. A little worried if you're Blaze right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
We see a float serve coming in from Buffum. Pass well by Massanet. Goes backside. Belvin looking for the...
Wow.
That's a bit of a miscommunication. Wow. Belvin not quite ready for that, and Chris Cohn's setting him pretty shallow.
What a steal. What a steal by the Tyrants right there. All because of that service run. With 4 straight aces by number 4.
Yeah.
And brought them right back in, gave them the momentum, and talk about a devastating blow to the Blaze to be down 0-2 and to lose that set on a roll shot into the net from the back row and not feeding the quick at all, getting their middles involved. Going to be interesting to see how the rest of this match shakes out, that's for sure.
Yeah, so if I'm the coach on the Blaze right now, all I'm doing is I'm making one substitution on the outside for a different look. I trust Pablo Guzman, but I think right now he may not be the answer. But I think one of the outsides, maybe sub out Jonathan Rodriguez or get him back in the middle. But one of those two, I think you just get a different look, get a little bit more confidence in your passing. Pearson's been passing well all tournament. Maybe get him back in there as kind of a support player, like we said. When he's not trying to do too much, he does well. And really reestablish your middles. I'm leaving Charles Belvin 100%. You know, it's a rough last error of the game to make, but that guy was throwing all sorts of punches for their offense.
Listen, I'm changing setters.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm changing setters.
No, you're right. That's the call. Mike Velatado. There he goes.
Velatato's got to come in.
Shirt's coming off.
If you want to talk about a role player, floor captain, bring the fire, but good consistent fire. Make the right setting choices. Fairly strong blocker for his size and his position. You get some contribution from the inline service from him, and some floor presence.
And we just saw that. We just saw the long sleeves get switched there. Mike V coming with the shirt off, and Chris Cohn's shirts goes on. So that's a great call.
Not that Cohn's has done a bad job.
No, not by any means.
But you're down 0-2. You got to make those changes if you want to pull this out and go 3. You've got to use all your guys. You can't leave them on the bench and just put up the white flag. You've seen what the Tyrants are going to do. They've shown you their cards. You've chosen to play maybe some of your other dudes. Get your guys out there, set the standard, make the tone right, and come out and try to win this match.
Absolutely. 5. And, you know, I'm really, really impressed with what we've seen out of the middles over here on the Tyrants. I called that completely wrong. I said this is a mismatch. Blaze has got the offensive weapons, and then we're not going to see, you know, we didn't see the production yesterday from the Tyrants. Tyrants are coming out answering. They're blocking well. They're finding their middles. Great connection. And there is shown to be quite a disparity here.
Honestly, I think the Blaze underestimated the Tyrants, grossly underestimated what they can do, what they expected them to do, and set the tone in a way that has been very disadvantageous for them.
Absolutely, because going 0-2 here for Blaze, if they drop this set, that's going to put them in a very tough spot because their last match, they've got to play the Stingers, and Stingers are 2-0 right now and not showing any signs of slowing down. So once again, Tyrants making we do see one adjustment here. We've got one substitution in the middle. It looks like Race Munger is heading to the bench, and that's going to bring in number 18, Thomas Burrell. Thomas did see some court time yesterday, and you want to see an explosive middle? Here it is. This guy looks for highlight reel bounces, and he gets up.
All right. I mean, that's great, but I didn't think Race did anything wrong.
Oh, no.
Not be on the court.
I think we're seeing court time
a little bit, but again, you push the dagger in deeper. You're up 2-0. Send it home, finish it up. You know?
But I think this comes to that roster management. You got a guy that big, you got to take care of his knees, make sure he's fresh, and you're going to need him later on with some of the bigger middles. And right now, if you're not seeing a middle threat, and maybe you think that's something you can work around, bring in your third middle, keep him fresh, and you got 3 games to win 1.
This is true. This is true.
But like we said, if you don't have a deep bench, and I don't know how deep their bench is, you want to win in 3.
You do. Yeah, you want to get this over. You want to keep the momentum. That one was close, 28-26. You know, just drive the dagger home a little bit more, take advantage of what is in front of you and get it done.
And all we're seeing on the changes over there is, just like you said, setter change only. But that's going to be a big block there from the side of the Tyrants.
Yeah, so Velatado set, and we've got Rodriguez playing outside.
Yep.
Which means that Faulkner should be the other middle.
Yep.
They've got.
It's a float serve here for the Tyrants, passed by Belvin. And that's a swing down the line. So here's that little bit of interesting stuff that you get to see. Charles Belvin, the opposite, with that hard work he put in the offseason. This guy taught himself how to pass in 5 months. He is now passing as an opposite so that they can remove Rodriguez and just have him be an offensive threat on the left side.
Yeah. Well, if I'm the Tyrants and I know that information, I'm going to serve Belvin every single ball.
Absolutely. Yes.
You know, you have to know your opponent, know the strategies, have a clear strategy, and then execute that strategy.
Definitely seeing some I'm going to call it, give the benefit of the doubt and call it high-level, plays here, trying to find the best roster, getting some unique looks. So interesting to see how this pans out for them. Big swing, finds it deep. Love that tempo, though. When you can set that quick ball out to the outside, you can't tell if you're the Tyrants, if that's going to the middle, Pedro Nieves there, or if that's going to be going to Jonathan Rodriguez.
Yeah, that's definitely puts the block and defense of the Tyrants in a tough position, because you don't know who's getting the set. That tempo is real fast. They're going to have to make some adjustments to be able to stop that.
Absolutely. We got a float coming back here, handled well once again. Dig off the ceiling, and again, talking to Justin last night, obviously a guy that is very, very passionate about the sport of volleyball, works so much with Team Freedom and stepped aside to help run this Tyrants team. He will absolutely defend his players, but he will make sure that he thinks he's got the best libero in the gym. And I got to say that number 5's been playing an outstanding match. Big swing from Ian Cap, dug by Massanet. Set goes outside, and Rodriguez with a good swing. Dug, and set's going to go outside. Ian Cap going for a tip over the top. Mike V with a big dive. Massanet with a low set. Finds a chop, and that's off the hands of Ryan Kenny, unable to come up with that dig. That's a good rally right there.
That was a good rally. Well played by the Blaze. Got guys diving all over the floor, and then ended with a nice, smart, high kind of shot to the back corner and catches the setter off guard.
Chris Cones was playing some solid defense, so when you make that substitution, you don't want to lose that. And you love seeing Mike V be able to come in and find that diving dig as well. Swing outside, me and Cat Massanet overpasses, and that's a huge swing. Dug inside. Another one. Draw the foul. And some disagreement on, let's put it this way, there was definitely a net just now.
There was definitely a net. I'll agree with you.
I don't know who it was.
Who netted? It was either 18 or 20, orange or white. I'm going to say I think it was orange 18, but both, nobody did, obviously, touch the net. So
Belvin with a deep swing, passed well by the Tyrants, goes to the front side. That's the bounce I was talking about. So when you say why not change, or why change it, get that guy some court time. Thomas Burrell has an absolute cannon.
I believe you now, Nick, and that was a great set.
That's actually last night. That's why we saw him, is because they weren't producing offensively. He was brought in as the third middle and the only one that was able to produce offensively. So I think they're just using that to kind of give Race Munger a break. A little bit of a paintbrush there by Greg Faulkner over the top, and that's a big swing out of Peter Namiotko, but that's a shutdown block. Again, that's kind of, I got to critique the set selection there. You've got two middle blockers on this side of the court, and you're going to that D-ball. That Namiotko is not an overpowering D-ball hitter.
Right.
That's not the way to go. Attack the setter.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. As a setter, you have to know who's blocking your hitters on the other side. You have to be aware of who's over there.
Yep. Set goes outside to Ian Cap there. Mike Velatado going up, getting a big touch. Set outside. That's tight. This is going to be a clamp block. Yep, there it is. Now, it might be our angle, but I got to tell you, Mike Velatado is getting almost as high as Greg Faulkner is. That guy springs.
Absolutely. He's very athletic. He's definitely one of the better blocking setters in this tournament.
Yep.
Especially given his size.
Mm-hmm.
He's always been very springy, even when he was playing at Redondo Union High School.
Yeah, how do you know about that one?
I may have spent some time in the gym with him when he was a setter at that school.
That's Thomas Burrell once again finding his way through that block. We're seeing some solid offensive production. And again, honestly, if you start to worry about your outsides being able to produce, we're not seeing any signs of slowing from Cap or number 9 Jake out there, but bringing some more offensive threat in the middle helps open them up, and they don't have to work as hard. You've got to keep, stay honest in the middle. So.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's about establishing that early on in the match and then riding it through, so your guys have their loads that they need to carry, and then you have to be able to respond.
Cap comes back unable to maintain the same energy he had earlier, so he's going to serve that one into the net.
So I'd like to see him maybe turn it down just one notch. Like, I know he went on that great run at the end of the second set, brought them back in. He doesn't need it right now.
Yep.
He needs it at the end of the match, end of the game. So put it in play, try to score a real point, and then ramp it up from there.
Faulkner with a big serve, handled well. Back set, Burrell finds a tip in the middle of the court. Greg Faulkner unable to find that defense. Thomas Burrell has already put up 3 points offensively, at least this game.
Really great heads-up play, running back one set. Credit to the middle blocker for being up and ready to hit, knowing that he's an option and that he expected to get set, and then being able to put the ball down. Caught the Blaze off guard. They didn't think they were going to set him.
Yeah, and if, a big part of that is identifying you've got a back row middle. If you've got a tip, go to that guy, make him play defense, and it worked there. Absolutely. Belvin with a Belvin with a quick pass. Mike forced to do a little one-handed knuckle punch, and Pablo Guzman unable to control it.
Yeah, not the best pass there from the Blaze. It was a little low and fast.
Yeah.
Really, they need to put a premium on their passing right now.
Yep.
Their serve receive needs to be 100%.
There's a good serve. Pablo Guzman with the jam, and that's what I was saying. We're not seeing him swing at all right now. He is just trying to tip and roll shot his way through, and I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that, but it certainly doesn't get the guys going, and Blaze was a loud team to start the match, and they have calmed down substantially.
It's okay if, you're getting the points and not being, loud and aggressively vocal. But
sure.
If you're making the errors while not being aggressive, then it's going to bring the team in the wrong direction.
Yep, absolutely, and then Mike B goes back there and puts a short float into the net. That's going to bring the Tyrant setter, Ryan Kenny, up. And he hits a nice down the line. Decent pass by Blaze, and Pablo Guzman gets a chisel off the outside. Once again, he just is a smooth operator, so he's not a guy that relies on that big swing.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that, in today's game is a little undersized. He's going to know how to chisel and move the ball around on his attack and really test the integrity and the reliability of the blocker's hands.
Yep. And, that's a quick set. The Belvin helps out. Once again, I will definitely say there was a net.
I like Tony standing his ground. He's a good referee. I think he sees a lot of things. Tyrants aren't really arguing. So I'm going to side on the down ref on that one.
Yep. Pablo goes back and serves, finds the friendly bounce over the net. That's a high ball spray. That's going to be a free ball from Peter Namiotko coming over. That's handled well by Blaze. Charles Belvin goes up and blasts that down the line. Kid's got range.
He does, and he's able to have that range because he's so athletic and he can jump really well.
Yeah.
They're going to need him, to keep scoring points like that. They've got a nice three-point cushion right now, but we're still very early on in this third set, and it's still a very long road.
Absolutely.
If the Blaze want to win this match.
Now, an interesting thing to kind of note for the off-the-court side, number 7 and number 4, if you ever talk to those guys on Blaze, that's Pablo and Pedro. These guys are two of the nicest and just funniest pleasures to be around. There's a lot to be said when you're trying to fix some on-the-court chemistry. Having guys like that on the court that are able to keep everyone grounded and centered, because sometimes you're looking for a change to technique or how the team looks, but having emotional, experienced leaders like that can really be valuable. So I think that Coach Bugs might be really relying on that right now.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's definitely goes into deeper effect when you've got some guys that maybe haven't spent a lot of time on the same team. Maybe they come from different parts of the world, maybe different languages as their first spoken word, and it helps to have that age and volleyball IQ on the court to kind of right the ship.
Yeah, absolutely. This has been a big rally so far. We see Jake going over the top on that double. Some solid digging there by Mike Velatado. It was a huge serve to start the rally by Pedro there.
Really nice,
Pablo,
really nice wrist away swing there by Jake on the right side. Well-formed block, but he made the right choice by attacking the line blocker and catching the line defender maybe off guard a little bit.
He goes to his float serve. Finds Massanet in good range. That's a nice dig with the one-hander, and a little talk here on the Tyrants to find that free ball. Pablo Guzman with the upset, and that's a nice dig by number 5. One-handed hit set. That's a net once again on the side of the Tyrants. That was one of the most impressive sets I've seen in a long time, honestly. Just an overhand, one hand, hits it to his own player.
That was nice. That was nice.
And that's going to be the Tyrants taking it outside as the Blaze has settled in a lot more fluidly into this match.
Yeah, I think you see the Tyrants maybe overexerting themselves a little bit too much. Couple net violations, which isn't totally necessary. Keep being aggressive, but not overly aggressive. We've kind of touched on this throughout the match. Play within yourself. Do what you do well. Don't try to do more until it's absolutely necessary, right? Tyrants are still playing with the lead, but right now it kind of looks like they're playing with not the lead, right? They're playing maybe a little bit more tentative. They're down by 4 points. Still not even halfway through this third set, though. There's still a long way to go. Now, they do have a new, different challenge in front of them with Velatado, a new setter. You get a different look. But don't change what you're doing if you're a Tyrant. Stay on the program. It's gotten you 2-set wins so far. You just need one more. They need 3. So, stay on the strategy.
Now, something interesting here. So we saw Jake go to a float serve there, and I thought it was interesting that he targeted Malnaziak, the libero, with that float serve.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I don't either. I think Belvin's been passing okay, but clearly the weakest passer back there.
Yeah.
If you don't trust your jump serve to find the target you want and go to a float, I think that's a smart strategy.
Yeah.
But you need to be floating Belvin there.
If you have the green light to hit your jump serve hard, doesn't matter who you serve, just hit it hard and put it in. If you're keeping it in and being conservative, you have to have a target that you're going to hit, and the libero is never the target.
Correct.
With a jump float serve.
Peter Namioko goes down the line, one-handed dig in the back row by number 4. Greg Faulkner free balls over, and we're going to see it going to the backside there for the libero set. That's picked up by Cap, dug by Velatado. No one's there to set, and Belvin's going to step close, swing away, and get blocked by number 20, Matt Buffum there. All right, Olivia, you got a little something for us?
Hi, Nick. That block is exactly what Coach wanted to see in that timeout. He said our front foot block needs to be better. He said we know if we block them just a couple times, they're going to force Blaze to do things that they are uncomfortable with, and that is exactly what he wanted to see, Nick.
Definitely makes some sense. There's a one-handed set by Mike Velatado, and Charles Belvin finds a way to score. That's kind of that athletic experience we're talking about. Mike Velatado finds a way to get involved in every set. He always puts a hand on the ball, no matter how tight, and he's going to find that one-handed set to get Belvin involved.
Right. And Velatado wants to be the floor captain. He wants to be in charge. He wants to be involved in every single play, and he'll sell out for whatever he's got to do to keep the ball in the air.
Absolutely. Good serve from Belvin, handled perfectly there by the Tyrants. Nice set out to Cap. Dug well by Malnaziak, but not quite able to pull that one out with the 2 middle blockers turning in the hopes of, digging that second ball.
Yeah, one-on-one blocker over there. Velatado was left alone. He made a nice aggressive move, but the chances are in favor of the outside hitter in that situation, and he was able to score the point.
Tip over the top, picked up by Mitch. That's going to be Jake hitting a down ball. Disconnect there between Malnaziak and Belvin.
See, and that's just the unfamiliarity of playing with somebody.
Yep.
That ball should be taken by the libero 99% of the time.
Especially Malnaziak. He will take 85 to 90% of the back row. If you've got a down ball coming, he wants that ball. Yeah. There it is. He even steps in front of Belvin on that serve receive. Big swing, blocked, shut down. Well, Olivia always handing us the gold, talking about the desire to get a blocking change here, making a refocus in on that, and Tyrants are getting some touches and some terminal blocks here. It's a big adjustment for them to get back into this game. Malnaziak with a great pass coming up. Mike Velatado goes to the outside. Greg Faulkner hits the ball. Dug to the outside. They're going to keep it live. Cap is forcing free ball from Jake. Jake launches that, makes an inexperienced play there, and free balls that into the ceiling. Go with a little bit of the beach mentality. Sometimes you want to really reset that, get a high ball, make a tough read for the team, but I think the guy's been in the weight room just a little bit too much.
I like the thought, but we're not playing at the Pyramid at Long Beach State.
Yeah.
And there is a ceiling here. Dial it down just a touch.
Just a touch.
Just keep it in play.
A little hybrid there coming in from Blaze, and we got a set to the outside. Ian Cap with a big swing. Nice touch, but once again, got to really preach here what Ian Cap and Jake are able to do on the outside. They almost swing identically. It's kind of funny, the look that they give, and if you're not able to stop one, that's a problem, because then you can't stop either.
They are very similarly appearanced individuals and also players on the court, both playing left side attackers, jump serving, great serve right there.
Yeah, well, he didn't want to listen to you. You said, I'd like to see him dial it back a little bit, and he said, no, I'm green light, coach, thanks.
And that's fine, go for it. Do you.
That's ace number 5.
Do you. time to have 4 passers out over there if you're the Blaze.
Absolutely. Minimize those seams. They're still keeping 3, though. That's passed quite well by Belvin, and
I've never seen that before.
I've never seen that. You got 30 years of volleyball experience over here, and neither of us have seen that. That's I don't even know how to tell you what just happened. So if you didn't know, just go back and watch that on YouTube.
That was a clear overpass. He made the smart choice by not just trying to swing eyes closed for the glory play. Had a front row setter right in front of him who would have blocked him, and he sets it over to area 5.
Was that intentional, though?
4, area 4, left front for the Blaze. And I believe, I'm going to say yes, it was intentional.
I think he missed that trying to go back to his setter. He was facing the net, and I think he was trying to send it right and missed.
I guess we'll have to find out after the match. I'm sure the coach will take all the credit for it.
Yeah, Justin, absolutely. If you know anything about the Tyrants coach, yeah, he's not even going to give credit to anyone else there. He'll take the credit as the guy that drew it up.
I'm sure they practice that play all the time. And they take the lead, actually. It's 16-15 now in the second half of this 3rd set.
Blaze,
they have a very good chance to win this match in 3, and the Blaze have to respond right now, or they will be done in about 15 minutes.
Yes. That's a toss. Good on the foot fault. Just long.
I don't know, some worried looks over there on the Blaze bench like that might have caught the line.
You and I are, it's funny, you and I looking at that Blaze bench at the same time right now. I think you're looking at their reactions. I'm looking to see if they've got a body down there, might be able to make a change on the outside to give them a different look. But Greg Faulkner with a long serve.
Struggling to find their serves over there. Maybe they've got a better server that could come in and make an impact
subs.
there, you know?
I mean, if you're not going to sub other people out, you got 6 subs. Go into the bench, find a serving sub. And Thomas Burrell, though, returns in kind, sends that one long. Misserves, thy name is men's volleyball.
Yep.
We're going to get Mike V coming down. He likes to hit that float serve. He's probably going to go after Jake in the front row. Oh, instead goes after Cap. Goes to the outside, and that's Jake banging a ball down the line. Called out. Very smart swing. Didn't quite go his way this time.
Good disciplined block there by the Blaze. You know, Jake's looking for fingers and hands and deflections, and discipline blocked him getting that opportunity.
Good call by Matt Buffin there. Looks for that push, Loudon establishes himself, and we're got a sub coming back in. That's going to be Peter coming back in for Mitch, the back row sub. Again, talking about role players, you got a guy like that I'm pretty sure is a setter to come in, play some back row defense. They're giving up that back row attack, but just a little bit more control on the court. It's a good look for Tyrants. Big swing coming out, nice touch down the line, but Pablo absolutely manhandled that ball.
Yeah, that was his biggest hit of the day so far.
Yep.
Glad to see that it's in there, and he's got it in the tank.
Yep.
He's going to need to do a little bit more of those, you know, if they want to steal out this 3rd set and take it to a 4th.
Yeah,
and now he's going to the back row. So
last time we saw him serve, he actually uncorked pretty good on a ball, so we'll see if he's able to do that again. There it is, pretty good. Handled well, though. Tyrants are going to go to the pin. Jake, and it's blocked, but he sends it over with a tip. Reset from Mike V. Quick set to Charles. Charles tools off the outside. That's where you do see a lot of the comfort. Those are 2 guys that have played together for a long, long time. And Mike Velatado making a smart set, spreading the offense out, and kind of giving some holes for Charles to chisel away at.
yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
Nice serve there. Pablo's turning it on the line. That's a great save there. Massanet picks it up. Velatado goes outside. Big swing here, and that's a big swing into the corner. Now we're starting to see a little production from Rodriguez on the outside with a swing like that.
Yeah, that's it's been a little while since we've seen him get a kill. I think he's finally saying, he's like, yes, thank you. I've finally scored a point, because I think he's been struggling to find that connection with the setters so far through this match, and I think that bodes good for the Blaze, that he's going to start producing some points.
And we see it as a result on the scoreboard, right? A 3-point lead after they were starting to waver quite quite a scary way. I mean, going down 16-15, they've been able to outscore 5-2 here. It's a good little run for the Blaze guys.
Yeah, it is. I think, but if we've seen anything from the Tyrants, they're not going to stop playing.
No.
I mean, they are aggressive from the inline. If they can get a side out and get on a run of their own, they're gonna swing for the fences.
This is far from a light at the end of the tunnel. This is Blaze trying to catch a breath. Once again, you see Tyrants in games like this. Some teams are looking to build momentum for game 4 maybe. If they, 3 points down this late in the game, you don't think you're going to get a comeback. Tyrants are a team that we saw earlier today and all day yesterday. They come back on 7- and 8-point runs in this deep part of the game, and they'll just steal these games.
Yeah, absolutely. I think anything can happen here still in this set.
That's a coach's point.
Yeah, smart timeout by the coach.
We've got 2 of the veterans here on the bench that are pointing at each other, seeing who's going to get the credit. Who gets that stat? Jake with a big serve in the back line. Pablo gets ace. Not an ace, sorry. Charles able to track it down. Pablo sends it over short. Libero comes up big. That's going to be a one-handed set to the backside. Huge angle, but not able to make that happen. Looking for a net, but that was Peter Namiotko when he landed. Fell into the net there, it looked like.
Yeah, I think he wants that swing back. He had one blocker in front of him, and he tried to hit it like there were 2.
Yeah.
The angle was just a bit too sharp.
And I think we got a little bit more insight. Olivia, where are you at?
Thanks, Nick. In that last huddle, coach said, okay, here's what we're going to do. We need to make the right decision when we attack. We saw that missed hit in that last one. He said, we're trying to kill it, but we don't necessarily need to. I want to see you be smart. Nick?
Absolutely. And right now we're seeing a little bit of a collapse on the Tyrant side. They need to kind of fight it back here. But that's a huge block and an adjustment there for Jonathan Rodriguez. Goes from the outside, steps into the middle, makes his move all the way to the right. And it sounds easier, but really executing that kind of a thing to go left, making your left blocking moves, and all of a sudden now you're going right.
Yeah.
It's tough discipline.
Utilizing his athleticism for sure. It was
Yes.
a good block move. He's playing left side, he's playing back row, he's playing middle. He's kind of being a utility player, and it's helping out.
And there it is, once again, Namiotko seals to Greg Faulkner. And again, I have to criticize this set selection. You're going to the backside to Peter Namiotko when you've got Ian Cap front row and you're swinging into the double block of Faulkner and Rodriguez. It's a mismatch that you do not want.
Yeah, and a good setter needs to realize that. Not to take anything away from what he's doing, but you simply look across 8 feet away and see where the blockers are.
See the Twin Towers up there, and that's going to be an ace to get this one. Blaze, I think the takeaway, obviously great for Blaze, they got the win, but Tyrants fell a little bit flat at the end there, and that's not the energy you want to go into a loss.
Agree, and they were right there, 16 all, 17 all. I mean, they had a chance, and then they just sort of fizzled at the end. A couple of bad hitting errors, an ace at the end there. A couple of blocks gave the momentum over to Rodriguez and the Blaze, and they were able to run with it to close that set out. I mean, they did what they needed to do.
Yeah.
Tyrants, they made one switch. We'll see what the other middle comes back with, and if they stay with the lineup they have. I think you saw a small little lull in their outside hitters from the inline and possibly from attacking on the left there, and also from their opposite right side attacker. I don't think he was carrying as much weight as he did the first 2 sets.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, you said it last match that we were watching. You said, when people start to get tired, what's the thing you start to see? Wavering, serving. And when you have a really aggressive physical team that relies on their service from the back line, we saw a lot more errors and a lot less production there. So there's something to be said that they need to be a little bit concerned with, whether it's finding float serving targets, because there's honestly the passing was not great on the side of Blaze.
And
so
it's
you
not
got
that
targets.
reliable. Of course, there are definitely targets out there. Find them, utilize them, expose them, right? And then make sure you know that those are your serving targets.
Yeah.
If you've got some fatigue setting in, make a couple of subs, change it up. Tell them to hit this guy with your serve. You don't have to crush your jump serve every single time, but put the premium on the passing.
Yep.
Right. Realize who the blockers are on the other side of the net. Play a smart, offensively minded game. Know where your matchups are, that it's going to help you better. Right. Yeah. And then keep winning the momentum back, blocking some balls and getting some fire, and maybe trying to keep the Blaze a little bit less emotional. They're an emotional team.
Yep.
They like to celebrate. They like to be loud. Keep that in check, and then I think the Tyrants can still kind of squeak this one out, but they're going to have to do it in Game 4. I don't know if it goes 5, if the Tyrants will be able to win in 5.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they answer back. And again, not knowing much about the Tyrants, some teams they answer back by coming together as a team, and some answer back by looking down the line, finding a new sub, and going to those guys. So, you know, they've got this team that's been fighting for them. So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see any switches here. But that being said, you never know. It looks like we're seeing a right side switch. Like you said, it wasn't seeing the same production there for Namiotka. So we're going to see number 6 here, Eddie Kissiker. He's going to be coming in. And now yesterday when we saw Eddie playing, he was a serving sub, and Ian Cap was playing some right side. So I'm really not sure right now if we're going to see Cap going back to the right side, or if they're going to keep Cap at the outside. If I was them, I'm keeping Cap outside.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think for the block and defense matchups, you want to keep your best left side hitters where they are. Cap and Jake blocking against the smaller Velatado and Belvin on the Blaze, and that exposed that weakness a lot in this set.
Yes.
If you've got to switch up your oppo to give your starter a little bit of rest, fine. He's a big physical looking guy out of Chicago wearing those socks with the stars and the flag. Yeah. If you get some production from him, great. Get a couple of blocks, great. You know, see what he can do to help, and throw him a couple sets here and there. So it looks like he is going to be playing opposite, and outside hitters are going to stay where they are.
Interestingly, earlier on in the season, he was actually on the Ontario Matadors. They were bringing him out for some of the events on the West Coast, and when the Tennessee Tyrants was getting formed, he was thinking originally it was going to be out of Chicago, and he was ready to play, and then they ended up going to Tennessee, and so he's still a Chicago guy out there, but he's playing with this team now, so little NVA inter-squad experience there.
I'll give a shout out to Chicagoland volleyball. I mean,
yeah.
Chicago's got great volleyball out there.
Definitely a wealth of players that know that game out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Indoors and out.
Float serve to start off Game 4. Massanet steps in front, takes the pass, goes outside to Pablo Guzman. One-handed dig in the back row, and that's going to be an outside set going out to Jake with a big swing touch by Belvin. Like you said, where are you attacking if you're that outside? Attack those smaller blockers. Mike V puts up a big block, but you can still abuse it. There's still holes.
Ride that wave, man, all the way home if you can. Like, keep feeding your left side attackers. You've got a great matchup. I like Jake against Velatado better than Cap against the opposite for the Blaze. And I think that's a matchup that could pay dividends for the Tyrants if they can expose it enough to capitalize.
Now, a huge thing to recognize also with the success of these outsides, Greg Faulkner looking for a big swing on the right side, once again using some unique personnel there since he's a middle, but he also has experience, just like you said, with the beach. Greg plays a ton of beach, so he's used to hitting a variety of sets, and that's why they've used him on the outside a bit as well. But there he's looking for that 5 ball and not quite able to find it.
Yeah, and his size obviously helps. I mean, he's a big physical dude. He's a big blocker. We saw that earlier. Got a couple of key blocks. His experience playing middle, playing outside, playing on the beach, it helps.
Absolutely. And that's interesting there. Because Belvin is in the serve receive, they've put Rodriguez there on the D ball. So little insight during the timeout, Olivia.
Thanks, Nick. Yeah, the Blaze has a lot of respect for Ian Cat back on the service line. So you see that adjustment in their rotation. They actually made that switch in the rotation to start so that Pablo Guzman could be back passing when Ian Cap's on the line.
Makes a lot of sense. It's always good to hear that people are identifying definite holes in their strategy compared to their opponents. And that toss got away from Faulkner a bit there. But something I was kind of highlighting there is number 1, Ryan Kenny. One thing I have to compliment this guy on, obviously a great setter for the Tyrants, but his location has been just absolutely perfect. He is putting Cap and Jake in the same spot over and over and finds ways for them to just be productive.
Yeah, I agree. He has been setting a very good offense. Locations have been good. I'm sure the outside hitter percentages have been obviously probably a little bit higher than where they're probably normally used to. But with that being said, we still need to finish this match out, and continue that way. So
that's a huge swing there. Connection nice from Mike Velatado going to the middle, number 4, Pedro Nieves. Pedro finds it in the gap and gets a big swing. Backside goes. We're going to see the first swing. There it is. It's a good sub, coach. You got the first point out of Eddie Kessiker there.
Yeah, that's a good confidence builder for him too. You know, you get a nice set right out of the gate. You get a high line attack from the right side.
Yeah, Kessiker. I got to say that right, Kessiker. We've got a short serve. Mike V goes backside to Pablo. Pablo gets blocked, 2 touches, and Pablo's going to send this one over. Great cover. Looks for an attempt, but Charles Belvin looks for the chop, does not find it. It's a bit of a chaos play, and Charles is looking for a way to end it.
A little chaotic ping pong action there, but not a bad idea.
No.
Unfortunately, he just didn't execute it.
His idea was perfect. No one was there. So if he just found that line a little bit more. Belvin with a pass, goes to the Bick there, and Rodriguez tips over the top, picked up in the back row by the middle. And that's a dunk off the outside by Cap.
I like what the Tyrants are doing. They're playing hard. You got a middle back there, getting the pancakes out. You got some good outside smart attacking, using the block, scoring real points.
Pablo with the good pass. Swing goes, that's I think a touch we got there. Yep, that's going to be a kill for Pedro Nieves. Interestingly, I think Matt Buffum's got 3 digs recorded right now, if I'm counting right in my head, as a middle blocker. That's a pretty solid contribution.
I like seeing that out of the middles.
Especially when one of them's a pancake. That should count twice.
It should, yeah.
Good big swing there, but Cap handles it perfectly. Huge swing by Thomas Burrell, but handled over there by Libero for Blaze, and ball goes out.
I like the repeat. It's a great first attack, but a better dig. I like the repeat, but again, don't force it. Go with what's gotten you where you're at. You're still winning in game 4. Keep feeding your pin hitters. Make the other team respect your middles, but keep riding what got you here.
Yeah, and Massanet, really, just got to give that guy props. His in-system digging is incredible. Velatado goes to the outside, and a jam ball down the outside, misses. I don't know if that set's dying a little bit on him and he's not finding what he wants, but that is not the look you want to see from a 6'8" outside.
No, it's definitely not the right choice. I'd like to see him be at least a little bit more aggressive and take some kind of heat on that ball, not just open hand tip it to the corner or play it too safe like that.
Big serve there by Eddie. Set goes outside, that's too tight. That was an incredibly physical play by the outside there, Rodriguez for Blaze. He was able to keep his feet on the line, so he was not called for under. But to go into that double block, locate that ball coming from over his shoulder and push into that was very well done.
Let's just say that the set was maybe a little bit slippery, had a couple of rotations on it. But it was a very, you're right, athletic, physical play by Rodriguez to save the point.
Pedro Nieves with the float serve, handled by Cap. Set goes to the Bick. Jake with a big swing touch in the back row by Pablo, but not able to handle that. Maybe.
Sorry, Nick. I like that play a lot right there. You've got the smaller, faster team in the Tyrants, right? You have to run all the options at them every single time at the block and defense to keep them on their toes. That was the first time we've seen that big in system, I think, for the match, maybe.
No, we've had 2 or 3 actually.
2 or 3, okay.
And that's what I was about to say. It's so hard to see because it almost looks like a go ball or like a middle set. They really do a good job of lining it up off the left shoulder of their middle, so it really creates a difference in blocking. The middle cannot just commit. The middle blocker on Blaze just can't commit to the Tyrant's middle. He's got to make a different move.
And in today's game, you have to have a high-level quality Bick attack.
Absolutely.
In order to win. Good
set by Mike Velatado to the outside, and Greg Faulkner goes 4-4 there. Finds that in.
That's a high hit by Greg. I don't think the Tyrants are going to stop that at the net, but good high angle attack by Greg.
Surprisingly, I couldn't see exactly how Pablo passed that ball for Blaze. Looked like he got hit by it a little bit more than he passed it, but came out really good.
It's one of those Puerto Rican contacts.
Well, love to see it. You love to see when a coach makes a call to bring a new player in, give him a chance. And it's not just that Eddie's out there finding, little chips and rolls. He's making big swings, and he's producing.
Yeah, you get a chance, make an impact.
Big set to the outside, swing by Rodriguez. There's the dig. Now we're going outside. Big block there, 1-on-1 for Matt Buffum. Again, too low.
Did you say Buffum?
Buffum.
Buffum. Yeah, great discipline block by the middle. Matt Buffum there. Quick in transition. He's a big guy. He doesn't have to move very much. He puts his hands up over the net, and he's already going to block the ball, and that's what he did right there.
Something to take a look at is where you've got Tyrant players lined up on defense right now. Because of Ian Cap's natural skill as a setter, I think I saw a touch there, but no call. Could be wrong there, but.
I didn't see a deflection.
I thought I heard.
It was a nice angle, and it would have been a great point if he had hit it in the court.
But so interestingly, with the substitution on the right side there with Eddie Kiesecker, what they're doing is they're putting Ian Cap in back right, because I think Eddie also plays a lot of outside hitter. And so since Cap is naturally a setter, they're putting him in that back right spot so Eddie can hit some bics as well.
Yeah, I think that's a good plan. You've got to have those options out of the back row when needed. You never know when your number's going to get called, especially in transition and as the match gets deeper into the match.
Good float there, handled well by Cap. Big swing by Jake, got a touch by Massanet. Kick save, fail attempt there by Rodriguez. I think he could have really gotten his hands on that.
He almost kicked that with his shin, it looked like.
Yeah.
I think he probably could have gotten a hand or two on that one.
Tyrants with a 3-point lead halfway through the game now is a little bit worrisome for Blaze. They got to find some mojo here. Set goes outside. Pablo, there's a bail-out net.
That's an undisciplined error right there. It's you got a free point from Rodriguez hitting that ball out, and you bail him out of jail by falling into the net, unfortunately.
Yeah, Guzman's arm has been a little bit of a coin flip here. There's a foot fault.
Craig's really struggling with his jump serve footwork back there.
Yeah.
Again, I think it's time to maybe
serving sub that out.
Shelf that one or try a different look.
You know, it's looking like a lot of his beach is catching up with him during COVID. A lot of, indoor wasn't happening, so he was playing some beach, and you see a little two-step awkward approach that might be getting to him. Velatado tries to throw a ball deep, and
oh no, that's not smart.
No, it's not, but that's a hindsight, and I gotta tell you, the selfish part of me would have loved to have seen a back row attempt from a libero dump, just because. It's not smart at all, though.
No, I don't approve. I don't approve. But you've got a 2-point lead, so if you can side out and not get aced, score a point, then you'll be all right.
Big swing from Rodriguez. Tyrants are just scrapping points together. Massanet with a big roll comes across. Charles Belvin with an incredibly tight set. Didn't have a lot of options and tried to make something happen and power through. That was a real trap set.
That was, but again, Buffum with a good, solid, well-formed block.
He's putting up numbers on his blocks.
He's come on late in this match and wasn't doing very much early on, but he's made a big impact.
Great pass by Charles Belvin. Big swing there, or big set to the outside, and big swing.
Good bounce back by Belvin. Pass and attack for a point.
Yeah.
Good to see him come back with a swing and not get in his own head about getting blocked.
Yep. Especially on a set like that, there's not much you can do. I think he made a good choice, and it is what it is sometimes. Good serve from Pablo, but Cap is just an absolute phenom of a passer.
Keep feeding the left side hitters, Nick.
Yeah.
We've been talking about it as this match has progressed. You got a street to hit down the line. You've got a right side defender maybe that's not super comfortable back there. Keep utilizing the matchups that you have.
Absolutely. Eddie Kiesecker on the back line now with the toss. He goes for a safe roll shot. Massanet passes perfect ball, goes to the backside, and Belvin is the answer right now for Blaze. Charles a little fired up, trying to halfway between excitement and I think a little bit of the stress of the situation.
You can't question his passion, I mean, he's excited, he's invested in the game, Not sure what was going on there, but nonetheless, let's move forward, shall we?
He's also a guy that is, I can safely say, it's never going to be aimed at anyone else. Charles Belvin is a guy that is harder on himself than anyone will ever be on him, and it's never going to get aimed elsewhere. So that's just self-critique right there. But big swing on the outside there from Jake. Jake Malnaziak has just been a phenom for the Tyrants, but not to be outdone by the passing efforts by Cap.
Agreed.
And the serving efforts.
Nobody moved over there.
That's at least 6, maybe 7 aces.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That's insanity.
He froze the entire passing formation over there with that serve.
I don't care who's on the back line over there. You're not touching that. That into the corner cross court like that. And now he goes to the other one.
So glad he changed it up and went down the line right there. Awesome. Just unstoppable right now. Unstoppable.
I don't know if you can hear it live on stream, but it sounds like a tennis match going. He is putting so much power. There is grunts coming out, yelling "Ay-ya" as he hits those balls.
Winners. Nothing but winners coming out of Cap from the inline of this match. And he's picking right times to get it. That's a 5-point lead for the Tyrants as we get into the second half of this 4th set. The Blaze flame might be starting to dim
extinguish a little bit here, yeah.
They are quickly running out of time. They need to respond and score some points of their own. And to this point, they haven't had a server that's been able to go on these kind of runs like the Tyrants have.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what do you do if you're the Blaze right now, Nick? You send out 5, 6 passers. What do you do?
I'm going to a 4-man serve receive,
okay.
And normally you hope that a server is hitting your seam so that you can bunch, but right now they're being spread wide, so you can't take a 3-man serve receive to eliminate those seams. If you go 4 deep, maybe you can eliminate some of those corners, and I'm taking one big step back for everyone. He's not going to be able to hit with that much power anywhere in front of 25 feet into the court. So take a step back, 4 guys back there, and try to battle. And again, your mentality is, I'm not passing this ball, I'm digging it.
Right, yeah, you're not looking for a perfect pass, just a deflection up into the middle of the court so that you can get a good swing on it.
Yep. Velatado pulls it out of the net there, and Tyrants going out to Jake, and Belvin with a great dig deep into the court. Now we're going outside, and Greg Faulkner gets blocked. You know, that was, I've been pleased with the offensive efforts by the Tyrants from the middle, but where they're impressive is their blocking is so sound across all 3 of the middles that we've seen, whether it's Munger, Burrell, or Buffum. They're all finding great touches.
Couldn't agree more. They've definitely contributed with their block and defense heavily into this match.
And again, if you've got Cap and Jake on the outsides, who cares about what your hitting looks like? There you go. There's the setter. Got to touch on that outside. There's that little rotation I was saying last time, though. They put Cap in the back right, and Eddie's in back center. All of a sudden, you got the setter out. Ryan Kenny takes the first ball, and now you got Cap squaring up. And
yep, you're going to get a better second set contact.
Oh, absolutely.
In and out of system play. And now we're at 20. First team to 20.
Yep. And Cap goes back and just going off. He is going to be in double-digit aces. He's got 9 aces. We're getting the stat right now. 9. So, I think the coach might be going back and trying to tell him to go for 10.
Absolutely.
No. Yeah.
He is. Don't talk to him. Don't talk to him, coach. Say, do you.
Is there something beyond green light? That's a good set by Belvin to not double up, and they're fighting for it. Ball coming over, free ball from Eddie. Massanet takes the free ball. Mike Velatado goes to the middle, and there's the swing. That's a good ball put away there by number 14 in the middle now, Jonathan Rodriguez.
Well, they weathered that storm.
Sort of.
Still down by 7. I mean, they've got another uphill battle in front of them. It's not over.
You got to outscore 11 points to 4 here. That's going to be 3 points to every one in order to get back on top before you run out of points.
That's a big challenge for sure.
Belvin with a toss. Big serve, but Burrell keeps it alive. Mike Velatado goes to the outside, Greg Faulkner, and Greg's able to muscle that one through. Burrell was a little bit late, not able to get there.
Yeah, that misconnection kind of hurt them.
I gotta say though, Ryan Alou, that guy, the libero over here for the Tyrants, his serve receive, I want to see that number.
Yeah, he has been pretty rock solid. We keep talking about the libero for the Blaze, and he's been very good. He steps in front of guys and takes the passes and puts up good sets and good passes and digs. But yeah, number 5 for the Tyrants has done just as good of job, but maybe even better in some departments.
Yeah, absolutely. His serve receive has been better for sure. Belvin goes for an aggressive toss, too high and can't quite get there. You know, it's incredibly difficult to play against a pin hitter oriented team like the Tyrants, and then you at any time put 2 or 3 setters on the court because they have so many. That's where their subs are.
Yep.
You cannot put that team out of system.
You can't. You're right.
That's a good swing there by Belvin. And there's the 4-to-4 swing that we saw yesterday from Jake.
That's a dagger right there.
Yep.
That is an attack to the heart of your court that should be protected. And I'm sorry, but this is too late right now.
Yep.
This timeout is not going to do any good for your squad.
No, it is delaying the inevitable.
This timeout should have been taken, or just, I know you can't carry him over to the next game. You don't get to take him home with you.
Yep.
But I don't know what you're going to tell your team right now that's going to do anything when you're down by 8 points, staring another loss in the column.
Yeah.
Any minute.
And now, you know, I want to draw a little, kind of go back to our last match. We talked about how Freedom, you've got to beat Freedom. Just because they got the name Tyrants. It's the same, it's that same never say die. These guys just, you have to earn the point.
Yeah.
Free balls are not going to fall. They're going to be in serve receive system. They're pounding balls on the service line.
It's absolutely fitting, you know, the namesake as to reflection of how they're playing.
Yep.
They're scrappy. They're hungry. They're not afraid to back, and they're not going to back down. I think.
Definitely excited to see these guys continue their experience in the NBA. And it was really funny. One of the younger guys that's kind of getting introduced to the NBA says, you know, so what's next after this tournament? It's like, well, you're a team in the NBA, so you're going to keep playing some volleyball, man.
Yeah.
Big tip, and I think that got the line.
Yeah.
Yep. Number 14, Jonathan Rodriguez, barely able to make that work. Once again, I got to say though, I'm a little let down by the middle connection for how much the middles are trying to put in some work over here. The Blaze middles are just not doing enough.
Yeah, I think they're trying to maybe be a little bit too cute,
Yeah.
and instead of really getting good at their core things that they can execute over and over and over again.
Yep.
They've got, you know, between Faulkner and Rodriguez changing who's playing middle and who's playing left. Sometimes, you know, it pays to just go straight up and do what works.
Yeah. Big swing by Jake, tries to go back. Massanet sitting on that. Charles goes for the swing there, dug up on the side of Tyrants. Set goes backside here. That's a good high swing, dug up on the side of Blaze. Set goes outside. Pearson now in the match gets a swing. There's a good substitution. I think it again comes way too late, but that's a good swing by Pearson that we've not been able to see out of Guzman over there.
Yeah, he's playing back row for Rodriguez. And we're going to have a timeout by the Tyrants. But I agree with you. Good timeout. You know, change it up a little bit. Maybe a little too late. Hard to tell still. I mean, 23-17. You know, we'll see how they respond after this timeout moving forward, because 1 point away from match point for the Tyrants, and you know, anything can happen still.
Yeah, and you know, one thing that's important to keep in mind here is that while any team can go first, second, third, fourth, you're not out. So if you want to know who you can count on, you want to create some chemistry and really find that right lineup, there is something to be said for that. So maybe Blaze don't get the final record that they want, and that puts a really hard path in front of them. As long as they're learning what they need to and finding the right lineups, they've got the size and the depth of the roster that they can play more matches than some of these other teams. So
yeah,
it's definitely not a nail in the coffin, not the road that I would want to be going through myself, but by no means is this a...
In this environment, everyone has different priorities, you know, in terms of where they want to finish maybe pool play and where they want to play Saturday and Sunday. You know, a full day off during a tournament can pose some problems sometimes.
Yeah.
It can mess up your kind of continuity, your rhythm, you know, your relationships on the court. But
that's a foot fault, but no call. Big swing goes out, and
we got a touch call on this guy. We have a touch call. Off the block, no argument from Blaze, so there was clearly a touch. We're at match point now, 24-17, Tyrants.
And that's going to put Ryan Kenny back row. That's going to bring 3 swinging options front row to Tyrants.
Good serve.
There's the swing from Faulkner. That's what I want to see. There is an established connection between Velatado and Faulkner. They've been playing together for a long time. They're both LA guys. 8 feet off the net, you can set Faulkner. And that's what, when they get too cute sometimes, just run a good middle set to him. Let him swing and do what he does.
Yeah, I agree. Unfortunately for the Blaze, I think that their passing has let them down. They haven't been able to run a lot of quick.
I agree with that. But now you're going to serving subs at the end of a game 4 when guys are cold. And again, going back to the word of the day, management, I think that's some mismanagement there.
Yeah, there's really no reason to put someone in to serve at match point off of the bench.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit speechless. But listen, congratulations to the Tyrants. They deserve. They earned that win. They absolutely earned that win. They came out. They played hard from the first point, and they put the Blaze on their heels from the very beginning, regardless of who was on the court.
Yep.
They set the tone from the beginning, and they are able to capitalize on it. So good for them.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge win. And with so many young guys, like I said, I think between both of their outsides, I think they're young 20s. I believe that the libero young 20s, this is a really, really young roster. And so when you're able to get that first win under your belt, it can be pretty intimidating, especially when their first match of the day, they're playing against Stingers. You're looking across Olympians, and you've got Langlois, who's a World Cup champ. You've got guys that they've played so much, and so for these young guys, you're a little starstruck, you're a little bit not sure how to go about it. They handled themselves brilliantly, I think, yesterday, but to come back and get this actual win, going 1-1, it's a really, really great look for those guys. So excited for them to go 1-1. But we've got Olivia on the court side with the player of the match. Olivia.
Thank you, Nick. I am absolutely here with the MVP. Ian, 9 aces in this one. Let's talk about set 2. It was set point for Blaze. You served 4 straight aces. What were you thinking back at the line?
So my mindset whenever I go back to serve is find the spot, hit it as hard as I can, and hope it goes in. And I knew that if we were going to win, I had to serve as tough as I possibly could. And it paid off in the end. It really did.
Yeah, absolutely. Your coach yesterday was talking about serving high risk, high reward. Is that a momentum that you guys take into this one too?
Most definitely. As you saw in the first set, we were not serving well, and that's why they were close with us. And then once we started building off that, getting our serves in, especially after the second set with me going back to serve, I was feeling really good. So just getting that kind of confidence and going back to serve and knowing I was going to get a point or at least something for us, get something going. I knew that we would be more successful doing that.
Not just aces, you're passing, you're setting, you're blocking. How are you so dialed in?
So I play a lot of grass volleyball. Always learning the game from playing that, doing all of the different aspects of the game, and bringing it here. I'm a setter and a libero, and I've been an outside here for the first time, and I'm usually a right side. So I just try to make sure that my team is most successful wherever they have to put me.
Yeah, a little bit of everything for sure. Your setter, Ryan Kenny, was really consistent on where he was putting the ball. How did that allow your offense to execute?
It worked really well because we were able to get solos on all of our hits for the most part. Credit to the other guy, the other team, they blocked very well given that fact that they had a lot of solos. That's something we got to work with, something we got to work to build on. So, I mean, that's all we got to do. Keep going, keep building off this great victory.
Yeah, keep going and building off this one. What is the biggest takeaway that's going to help you moving forward?
We got our first win, and that's the best feeling. As long as we can keep that momentum going to the next game, I think we'll be very successful.
Congratulations. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Nick?
Man, it is so easy to love a player that not only balls out on the floor, but then you hear him with confidence. Just a nice guy and absolutely deserves all of that.
Credits his team for the win too. Go wrong with that.
And you hear that he plays everything but outside. But that's going to do it from us over here, guys. Up next, we've got a Ramblers match playing against the Southern Exposure. This is going to be the final match for Ramblers to set up their seating here in their pool, which actually means that I'm out of here. I got to go start warming up. So, Matt, I think you're going to be riding solo, and I'll be back after this one.
Thanks for carrying me, Nick. Good luck out there.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. We'll be right back with more volleyball.